Chapter-121-140 Hyuga Luoning. The second floor of the noodle restaurant became extremely silent because of Hyuga Luoning's screams, and even a few ninjas stood up and looked at Luhan and Hyuga Luoning again, completely unable to see what was wrong. She really found out. Luhan sighed in his heart. Whoa! Hyuga Luoning turned around suddenly, knocked over a table, almost panicked, ran to the entrance of the stairs, and quickly disappeared from the sight of all the guests on the second floor. Luhan raised his hand and rubbed his temple, feeling a little headache. After all the calculations, I never imagined that the problem was actually in the food. The guy on the second floor stood in front of the long cabinet with a sad face, looked at the table that was knocked over by Hyuga Luoning and the tableware that had been shattered on the floor, then aimed at Luhan and squatted on the ground with his head in his arms. Who could he ask for compensation? This month's wages are gone. Luhan took another mouthful of noodles, but did not swallow it. He immediately took out a short knife from under his waist, and took a picture of it with the reflective blade. His cheeks were bulging, and his face had completely changed. It's really troublesome. Luhan shook his head, ate the noodles in his mouth, put away the knife, got up and walked towards the stairs. When passing by the guy, Luhan lost a money ticket to the guy, and then said, "My meal money, and the compensation for you, don't need to look for it." The woods leading to the Hyuga's settlement in the northern district of Konoha village. No, how could it be him? There must be something wrong. The height is wrong, the voice is wrong, but, that face, that is the face, although the hair is different. The hairstyle can be changed at will, and that group of ninjas was looking for him that day. He has a problem. He has a problem. Hyuga Luoning was running on the forest road, her eyes blinked very quickly, her face a little panicked. She is very confused now, very confused. Not only because she couldn't accept that Luhan was that person, but also because she knew Anbu's confidentiality rules. Kai. The sound of breaking the air suddenly sounded. Hyuga Luoning reacted in an instant, twisted and jumped suddenly. 5 kunai shot past her side, duo, several times, all nailed to a tree not far away. Hyuga Luoning felt cold all over her body, turning around and looking at the direction where kunai was shooting, there was nothing there. He's going to kill me. He's going to kill me. Hyuga Luoning's body trembled a little and kept talking, looking in that direction extremely nervously. You found out, right? Behind Hyuga Luoning, a hoarse and weird voice sounded suddenly, in different tone. Hyuga Luoning suddenly jumped and turned around, only to see Luhan walking out slowly from behind the 5 kunai tree nailed to it. He didn't wear a mask, he was still dressed as he was in the noodle shop, but his voice was exactly the same as when he fought 44 ninjas alone that night. It's really you. Screaming again, Hyuga Luoning took a few steps back and leaned in front of a tree, looking terrified. You should know Anbu's rules. Luhan looked at Hyuga Luoning indifferently, and slowly twitched the short knife around his waist. What are you doing? Don't. Hyuga Luoning was so frightened that she was about to cry. Although she was already Chunin, she was only 13 years old, and she had seen Luhan's true strength, and she even felt in her heart. Can't bear any resistance. I scare you. Luhan, who had an indifferent face, laughed suddenly, and put the knife back into the scabbard. Then his expression was indifferent again, and the continuous changes in his expression gave people a feeling of complete nervousness. What do you know? Luhan stared at Hyuga Luoning. I know, Sharingan, you are, and, Shikatsumyaku, dead bone pulse. Hyuga Luoning was really frightened. Han was no longer the cold she knew before, and this is different from encountering foreign enemies. When encountering foreign enemies, she dares to work hard even if she is afraid. Han is from Anbu. If she really killed her, it would be difficult for the clan to decide for her. That's why she was so scared. Sharingan is a transplant. Luhan said blankly. He didn't explain Shikatsumyaku, dead bone pulse. He said too much. It seems that you saw everything that day. my identity in Anbu is top secret, but you know. You don't kill me. I won't say anything, I swear. Hyuga Luo Ning exclaimed. Her name quickly changed from Orange to Yuhi. Danger. Yuhi color means hostile and means possible damage to subversives. With Hyuga Luo Ning's strength, it is impossible to directly hurt Lu Han, so there is only one possibility left: she will tell others what happened today. Once the matter reaches the ears of Konoha's high-level officials, Lu Han will be suspected and there is danger. I can choose to kill you or not, Lu Han said without changing his expression. When I came to the village, I was selected as an experimental subject to train in Anbu. During the ninja school, I had to hide my strength. Even I can't fight back if I get beaten up. But Hokage-sama has recently decided to allow me to gradually reveal my strength, and I've started doing so Tsunade has become my teacher, and I've recently become a genin. The name above Hyuga Luo Ning's head changed from Yuhi to Orange, and then to Yuhi again. Blink. She's having a hard mental struggle. Should she tell anyone else? I hope you don't ruin Anbu's plan. Lu Han narrowed his eyes slightly. I need a process and time to walk from behind the scenes to the stage. If it is exposed in advance, it's not just you who will die. Do you understand? I swear, I won't say it. I will never tell anyone. Hyuga Luo Ning raised her hand excitedly, with tears in her eyes. Her name color is starting to flash like crazy. Yuhi is orange. Yuhi color orange. Yuhi color orange. Yuhi color orange. Orange. Finally set in orange. Lu Han stared at Hyuga Luo Ning. For a while, Hyuga Luo Ning's name did not change. She won't tell. Let's go, forget what happened today. Lu Han, who stared at Hyuga Luo Ning for a long time, spoke again. Hyuga Luo Ning turned around and staggered away. Lu Han stood there, watching Hyuga Luo Ning run into the distance. The hand seal disappeared, and then he retracted his gaze. The color of the name has not changed. It was still orange until it disappeared, and it was completely frightened. Looks like I have to speed up my plan to reveal my strength, otherwise it's really troublesome, Lu Han said in his heart, removing the kunai from the tree, and the hand seal disappeared in place. Chapter 0122-Cold. The name of genius. When it comes to his own survival, Lu Han finds it hard to believe in people's hearts, but he believes in the rules of the game. Judgment. Yuhi's color is malicious. May cause harm. Orange does no harm. The rules of the game will tell the subversive who can and cannot be killed. Lu Han has never killed Chengming, and he doesn't know what the consequences of killing Chengming will be. There will definitely be no drops. Tell the truth, Hyuga Luo Ning's name was finally fixed in orange, which made Lu Han relieved, because he really didn't know. If Hyuga Luo Ning's name was finally Yuhi color, what would he do? Could he do it? It's unknown because that didn't happen. Hyuga Luo Ning didn't tell the truth, which made Lu Han temporarily safe, which was very interesting. Obviously someone already knew Lu Han's true strength, but the person who knew Lu Han's true strength did not doubt Lu Han. This happens because of Anbu's secrecy regulations. Due to Anbu's secrecy regulations, the senior Hyuga family told Hokage about the situation that night, and asked Hokage if there were really ninjas who were both Master Sharingan and Shikatsumiku, Dead Bone Pulse, at the same time. Whether Hokage answered or not, he did not answer, or he said no. Hyuga's senior management will not tell Hyuga Luo Ning about this. So it is impossible for Hyuga Luo Ning to know exactly whether Anbu really has a ninja who has both Sharingan and Shikatsumiku, Dead Bone Pulse. It was also because of Anbu's secrecy regulations that Lu Han had reason to threaten Hyuga Luo Ning to shut up. Hyuga Luo Ning kept it a secret. No one would know that Lu Han was the ninja with both Sharingan and Shikatsumiku, Dead Bone Pulse, and it was even more impossible to suspect an investigation. Lu Han. But Lu Han was still uneasy. He is safe for the time being, but it's hard to say in the future. If something major happens that triggers a change in Hyuga Luo Ning's state of mind, causing her to tell the secret, it will still pose a threat to Lu Han, and Lu Han can't keep staring at him. Hyuga Luo Ning sees when her name will turn into Yuhi. Lu Han has decided to speed up exposing his strengths and shape himself into a peerless genius who grows rapidly after awakening. 5 days later, Anbu Station, noon. The Kato brothers just returned from their mission. In the cafeteria of the Anbu cave, Kato Feng and Lu Han sat at a table. Kato said what he said as always, and didn't care about others. Tsunade. It's not me, Master Han, you said that you've been in Anbu for more than a month, and you haven't participated in any training. How can you increase your strength? As long as the opportunity is right, you will definitely go out to perform tasks. A little more safety, you said. Okay, Lu Han said impatiently, rolling the eyes of the dead fish, isn't it just strength? Let's learn from each other after we finish eating. Kato Kai and Kato Feng were taken aback at the same time, looked at each other, and laughed at the same time. Master Han, forget it. Even Kato Feng said this, his face full of helplessness. Let me learn from you. Kato Kai opened his eyes, one big and one small, and looked at Lu Han with a weird expression. Master Han, do you know what my strength is? Did you hear that? Young Master Han wants to learn from me. Ha. Okay. When? It will definitely look good, haha. There was a lot of laughter, but there was not much malice, but Lu Han felt that it was a little funny, and he dared to think about anything. Are you coming? Lu Han raised his eyebrows at Kato, not joking at all. Kato's smile gradually faded, and his expression became serious. Master Han, are you serious? Yeah, Lu Han nodded with certainty. You always question how bad my strength is. Even if I can't beat you this time, we will learn a lot in the future, and one day I will beat you. Master Han, actually, I didn't mean that, don't get me wrong. Kato cracked a little embarrassed. No, what you say is useless. I have to prove to you that I am not only a genius scout, but also a genius ninja. In the afternoon, surrounded by a large group of idle Anbu ninjas, Lu Han and Kato had a discussion, and he also saw Kato's level 30 white silver boss. The result was naturally, Lu Han lost. But he showed Chunin's strength. 5 more days. Lu Han and Kato split again, and his strength has improved. Another 15 days have passed. Lu Han and Kato split for the 3rd time, and his strength is close to the elite Chunin. When Lu Han and Kato split for the 4th time, he had joined Anbu for 2 months, exposing his strength as an elite Chunin. The name of genius shaped the whole Anbu. Lu Han pinpointed the time very accurately. He gave everyone a feeling that he was growing rapidly, but this growth rate was not incomprehensible. Because Lu Han was able to find a comparison, to talk about the most eye-catching genius in the original work, not to mention the 2 protagonists Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke, the most mentioned is the enchanting genius who served as the captain of Anbu in the original work, Uchiha Itachi. A terrifying being who graduated from ninja school at the age of 7. Served as captain of Anbu at the age of 13. Compared with Uchiha Weasel, Lu Han, who is now 12 years old, is still far behind. Hokage world where Lu Han is now to find the characters to compare. There is no need to say what kind of characters Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara are, let alone Sarutobi Hiruzen who became Hokage at the age of 20. I mean, it's close. Tsunade graduated from ninja school at the age of 6. At 20 years old, her strength can already be described as unfathomable. At the age of 12, Lu Han has the power of an elite Chunin, which is really nothing. However, Lu Han is different from so many talented people. 4 months ago, he was still a waste. Recognized waste. But to put it another way, 4 months is not too short. There is one word that can describe Lu Han's situation: accumulation and accumulation. 12 years of unhingedness, awakening at once. A new day. The 67th day that Lu Han joined Anbu. Anbu got important information and finally determined the approximate location of the S-class missing Ninuchiha Gumu in the Land of Water. Lu Han received the order of Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen and will be the captain of the scout. The identity led a small team of Anbu ninjas to the land of water to pursue Uchiha Gumu. Chapter 0123 Tsunade Death Crisis. Tsunade's home, in the spacious lobby. Remember, you must be careful in this mission. Tsunade was exhorting Lu Hanshin. This time Anbu sent a total of 4 teams to track down Uchiha Gumu. The team you are in charge of is mainly for tracking and positioning. Uchiha Gumu, notify the other squads immediately. You are not responsible for the killing. Got it? How many times have you said it? Lu Han said helplessly. Disobedient kid. Tsunade immediately raised his finger and poked Lu Han's forehead. Don't be reckless, now is the time of chaos. Once you make the wrong decision, you may never come back. Quote. Don't call me a kid, okay? I'm almost 13 years old. Lu Han raised his eyebrows. You're not a kid at 13. Tsunade glared. Return the money to me. Lu Han stretched out his hand and ticked Tsunade. Tsunade's face suddenly became bitter. He didn't dare to stare at Lu Han again. He turned his head to the side. He was so tired. It's nothing, I'll go first. Lu Han was joking just now, and continued, I have to take a mission out of the village first, and then go outside the village to meet other people. Generally speaking, Anbu ninjas leave Konoha, some they will always take the quest to cover up first. If they don't do this, it's too easy to analyze who the Anbu ninja is. 9 times out of 10, the ninja disappears from the village every once in a while. Go, by the way. Tsunade saw Lu Han walking out, got up quickly and said, one more thing. What? Lu Han stopped and turned around. Can you lend me some money first? Tsunade was a little embarrassed, his face was a little yuhi, but he knew Lu Han very well, so there was nothing he couldn't say. I have a mission today, go to the vortex country, if possible, maybe I will go to the country of water, and I will be able to find you at that time, but I don't have any money on me, and the expenses along the way. Can't you borrow it from Jiraiya-sama, or Orochimaru-sama? Don't you guys go on a mission together? It's together, but I've borrowed from them too many times. You know, I'm a thin-skinned person. You can do it. Lu Han almost spat out a mouthful of old blood, and Tsunade dared to say that he was thin-skinned. How shameless is this? Give. Remember, don't gamble. Lu Han quickly took out 50,000 coins and gave it to Tsunade. He didn't want to talk nonsense with Tsunade. A gambler with debts all over the world, what kind of face can you expect from her? Lu Han now has the feeling that he is raising Tsunade. Because this is not the first time he has lent money to Tsunade. Noon. Lu Han went to eat first, and then came to the mission hall. Because the meal time had not yet passed, there were not many ninjas in the mission hall. Lu Han found a counter at random and looked at the missions for the past few days. Accepting the task is nothing more than a cover-up. So as long as it is a task to be done alone, it doesn't matter whether the task is done or not when you get outside the village, it is just a cutscene. Since the agreed time to reunite at the village has not yet come, Lu Han is not in a hurry, and dawdling in the task hall, it seems that it is difficult to decide which task to take. In front of the counter, Lu Han was looking at the task book when he suddenly felt someone pat him on the shoulder and was startled. Someone approached silently. Lu Han looked back, and immediately relaxed again. Tsunade, who separated just before noon. Come with me, Tsunade said in a low voice with a Yuhi-like expression on his face, as if there was a big happy event. Let's go outside. Lu Han frowned, not knowing what Tsunade, who was about to embark on a mission, was looking for at this time, but he also raised his hand seal and disappeared in front of the counter together with Tsunade. Downtown alley. The whirlwind blew up, and Lu Han and Tsunade appeared at the same time. I'll give it back to you, I'll give it back to you. Ha ha ha, I have so much more. Tsunade didn't wait for Lu Han to ask. He took out a large amount of money and stuffed it into Lu Han's hand. It's 2 months of me and you. Borrowed, as well as the ones owed to you at first, about 300,000 taels, can you count them right? Tsunade paid off the money owed to Luhan at one time, and he still had a lot of money in his hand. Luhan's eyes widened a bit, and he asked anxiously, "Where did you get the money? Are you gambling again?" "Yeah, it's a gamble," Tsunade nodded. Luhan's face changed, his heart was shaking. Tsunade didn't notice the unusual change in Luhan's face, and continued talking to himself. "Just now, I was going to try my luck with 10,000 taels, but I didn't expect my luck to be so good today. In half an hour, I won almost 500,000 taels." Tsunade usually didn't dare to admit to Luhan about gambling. But this time she not only admitted, but also triumphantly, squinted and smiled at Luhan. "How about you, kid? I just said I can't always lose. There will be a day to win." "Humph. If it wasn't for the upcoming mission, not so much time, I can definitely win more." Quote. Luhan was stunned, looking at Tsunade and speechless. Tsunade wins. She actually won. According to the setting of the original book, Tsunade is born to be reckless when it comes to gambling. No amount of money is enough for her to lose, and there is only one situation where Tsunade will win. That is, she will encounter a death crisis. The original book also focuses on this description. That time she won the money, and when she went out, she met Orochimaru, whose hands were sealed and who had already defected to Konoha. After the fierce battle of Sanin, Tsunade almost died. It has been more than 4 months since Luhan came to this world. He knew Tsunade the first. Tsunade was the closest person to him. He knew that Tsunade had a bad gambling habit that he couldn't get rid of, but he still lent money to Tsunade again and again. It was because he wanted to know, when will Tsunade win? She wins money. It means that she will encounter a crisis of death. But Luhan didn't expect that it would be today. Today he will lead a small team of Anbu ninjas to the Land of Water to track down the whereabouts of Uchiha Gumu as the temporary Anbu scout captain. And today, Tsunade won. She will be on another mission with Jiraiya and Orochimaru. Go to the country of the vortex. Stupid. Tsunade saw that Luhan didn't speak, raised his hand and waved it in front of Luhan's eyes with a smile. "Then I'll go first, you continue to be stupid here." "Humph. Can't I win money?" After Tsunade said Luhan couldn't respond, hand seal disappeared. Chapter 0124 Tsunade's Mission. "Hey, wait." Luhan hurriedly wanted to stop Tsunade, but the Tsunade hand seal was too fast. Luhan could only watch Tsunade disappear with his mouth half open, blinking his eyes and froze in place. Luhan hugged him again. His head was extremely annoyed. He hadn't even had time to ask what quest Tsunade was going to do. Winning, mission, dangerous, unfortunate. A few keywords flashed through Luhan's mind quickly. He was 99% sure that this time Tsunade went out on a mission, and he would encounter a crisis of death. For the remaining 1%, Tsunade's close relatives will be in danger and unfortunate things will happen. The probability of the latter is too low. Luhan has always ignored it. Because at this time Tsunade has only one close relative left, that is her younger brother Naoki, and Naoki, who is 9 years old, is still studying at the ninja school. Because Tsunade often goes out to perform tasks and does not have enough time to take care of his younger brother, Naoki, instead of living with Tsunade, he attends the ninja school during the day and returns to the Senju family gathering place at night to be taken care of by relatives. Luhan has been in this world for more than 4 months, and he has been studying with Tsunade for more than 3 months, but he has only met Naoki twice. It can't be him. Luhan completely denied it. It couldn't be that Naoki was going to suffer misfortune. Luhan understood that when he came to this world, he had a huge butterfly effect. Some people would die early because of Luhan's arrival, and some people who should have died early might live 100 years. The greater the change. And the one most involved with Luhan is Tsunade. Tsunade accepted Luhan as a disciple, and she taught Luhan the basic abilities needed to enter Anbu. Therefore, the time she did the tasks changed. Maybe it was just a matter of 1 day later, but let alone 1 day. Even if it is an hour different, when she is out on a mission, the enemies she encounters may be completely different. Original book, Tsunade would not die in Konoha for 30 years, but when Luhan came, everything was hard to say. Tsunade, Jiraiya, Orochimaru. Although these three people are not as powerful as the Second Shinobi World War in the original book, and they don't have the name, Sannin, but at this moment in the Shinobi world where Luhan is located, the people who can bring them a death crisis are really not much. What exactly would be the situation that would bring Tsunade to misfortune? Was someone planning to kill and ambush them? Or did they encounter a powerful enemy? Luhan couldn't think of it. Damn, Luhan cursed, and Hanseal disappeared into the alley. He was annoyed. Why today? Today he has to lead the team out on a mission. Not to mention the ability to save Tsunade, maybe even to stop Tsunade from going out. Anbu Station, dimly lit cave passage. There was a burst of rapid footsteps, and the echo in the cave was very heavy, and the footsteps were particularly clear. In the Anbu command room, Luhan, who was running wildly, suddenly stopped at the door. His hand was already on the door, but Luhan controlled it and did not push the door directly. Dong dong. Captain, it's me, Han. Come in. Hatake Tsukumo's voice came from inside. Luhan pushed in the door and walked quickly to the desk. Behind the desk, Hatake Tsukumo was wearing a black robe, without a mask, holding an open scroll, as if he was looking at some information. This time, Hatake Tsukumo did not participate in the mission of chasing down Uchiha Gumu, because the situation between the countries is getting worse. More and more nervous, he is on standby, waiting for a possible higher-level emergency mission. Didn't you go out on a mission? What's wrong? Hatake Tsukumo raised his head and smiled. His eyes were bright, and even when he smiled, his eyes seemed to point directly at the heart, very majestic. That's right, Captain. Luhan scratched his head, a little embarrassed. Let's talk, what's wrong? Hatake Tsukumo said again. Luhan is Tsunade's disciple, has super scout ability, and is a new talent in Anbu. Hatake Tsukumo's attitude towards Luhan is more like a kind senior, rather than superiors. That's it. Luhan hesitated before saying, before noon today, the teacher told me that she also has a mission, with Lord Jiraiya and Lord Orochimaru. I just want to know, what are they going to do? The task that the three Tsunade did must be S rank, and it was ordered by Hokage himself. Hatake Tsukumo must know. Because he is Captain Anbu. Generally speaking, tasks that are rated as S level are major tasks involving national security, rather than entrusted by individuals. Only in very rare cases, there will be S-level tasks entrusted by individuals, but that kind of task will take several years, not even one. S-level tasks are basically generated in Anbu. After Anbu conducts a comprehensive analysis of intelligence, it will propose some super difficult tasks that need to be completed by ninjas, and then will be independently reviewed by Konoha executives or Hokage, and eventually an S-level task will be formed. This task Anbu may do directly, or it may be ordered by Hokage to be handed over to senior ninjas in the village who are not members of Anbu. To put it simply, Hatake Tsukumo, who is the captain of Anbu, will know all the secret missions in Konoha village and who will be sent to do those missions. Why are you asking this? Hatake Tsukumo frowned subconsciously when he heard Luhan's question. That's right, the teacher told me that she was going to the country of Vortex to perform a mission, and also said, after the mission is completed, she may go to the country of water to find me. At that time, I should be in the country of water. Luhan became more and more embarrassed, smiled shyly. I just thought, if possible, without delaying the task, help the teachers and the others. I'm an apprentice. The teacher always said that after I entered Anbu, I would not recognizing her. I just wanted to. Ha! Hatake Tsukumo laughed. He could imagine Tsunade's face when he berated Luhan for not recognizing anyone. Luhan expressed was that he wanted to prove to Tsunade that he didn't deny her, and even wanted to show off to Tsunade. After all, Luhan led the team out as a temporary scout team leader. If he could really help Tsunade, he would definitely. It is not his strength alone, but the strength of Anbu. Hatake Sakumo suddenly felt a little pitiful for Han, and didn't know how Tsunade bullied him normally. Okay, I'll tell you. Hatake Sakumo laughed. Chapter 0125 I have a mission. When Luhan came out of Anbu's command room, he still had an unnatural smile on his face. Walking in the dark passage, Luhan quickly rubbed his face. His expression gradually became cold. He already knew what Tsunade was going to do in the country of Vortex. More than 10 minutes later, the Konoha Mission Hall. Noon has passed, and there are many people in the mission hall who are handing over missions. There are many people in the mission hall. The mission hall is very large, but it seems to be full. Konoha now has more than 10,000 ninjas, and 30% of them are free quest ninjas. Luhan came to the number 4 counter and waited for a while before it was his turn to handle the task handover. This sea-level patrol mission. Luhan was in a hurry, took a mission at random, and reported his name and ninja number. Behind the counter was an elderly ninja named Cage Walk, who didn't say much and started to go through the task procedures. The sea-level mission Genin can do, not to mention that Luhan is on a regular patrol mission. This mission is basically not dangerous. It just takes a lot of time and requires less commission. Signed and sealed. Long Walk handed over the task letter to Luhan. Luhan took it in his hand, turned around and left, walking in a hurry. Sudden. A leg appeared in front of Luhan, as if he wanted to trip Luhan. Luhan frowned slightly, stepped a little bigger, and stepped over directly. Luhan didn't look at who was going to hurt him. Or with him, just kidding, he didn't have the mood, he didn't have the time, he was in a hurry. But Luhan didn't take 2 steps again, and another leg stretched out from the side. This time, he seemed to want to trip Luhan suddenly. Luhan stopped, took a deep breath, and looked aside. Not a joke, it's for trouble. A person Luhan has not seen in a long time. Uchiha Fugaku. 15-year-old Uchiha Fugaku is tall and tall. Compared with a few months ago, he has lost a lot of weight, but his eyes are brighter, and he doesn't know what kind of mood changes he has had. Originally from that incident, Uchiha Fugaku could not come to the mission hall because he could not leave Konoha and could not go out to perform missions. However, just a month ago, the third-generation Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen cancelled the penalty decision on Uchiha Fugaku. Luhan was in Anbu and knew the inside story. Originally, Uchiha Yokoyama's position in the Uchiha clan was very stable, but because Sarutobi Hiruzen punished Uchiha Fugaku not to serve as the Konoha guard captain in the future, this led to the competition within the Uchiha clan for the successor of the patriarch's position. Uchiha Fugaku was the only son of Uchiha Yokoyama. He lost. Chances are, it is not the descendants of Uchiha Yokoyama who participate in the competition. 2 factions have formed in the Uchiha clan, both of which want the outstanding young ninjas of their own faction to be candidates for succession, and they also want the support of the current patriarch Uchiha Yokoyama, but Uchiha Yokoyama has not expressed his position. The contradiction between the 2 factions became more and more serious, and after Uchiha Gumu's betrayal, Uchiha Yokoyama also began to be questioned, and his position became unstable, which eventually led to a private fight between the 2 factions, resulting in casualties. Although everything happened within the Uchiha clan, the Anbu master who monitored the entire Konoha got the news. Sarutobi Hiruzen also revoked the punishment decision against Uchiha Fugaku. Uchiha Fugaku restored his previous freedom and duties, and can serve as the captain of the Konoha Guard in the future. Uchiha Fugaku can serve as the captain of the Konoha Guard in the future, and there will be no obstacles to becoming the chief of the clan in the future, and the problems within the Uchiha clan will naturally be solved. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen has always been wary of the Uchiha tribe, but at this time of trouble, a big war may break out at any time. Sarutobi Hiruzen has to do this. He doesn't want the Uchiha tribe to collapse due to civil strife, and some Uchiha ninjas will betray at that time. Is not good for Konoha by any means. Uchiha Fugaku is not alone. There are more than a dozen Uchiha ninjas around him. They are not very old, and they are the young generation of the Uchiha tribe. What do you mean? Luhan asked, glancing at the group of people with an indifferent expression. He didn't see which two people just stretched their legs and tried to trip him. Because they are all Yuhi names. Luhan and the Uchiha clan has been extremely difficult to resolve, not to mention that these young ninjas are all following Uchiha Fugaku. Uchiha Fugaku's attitude towards Luhan is their attitude. Uchiha Fugaku's rating has reached level 20 Gold Boss, which is elite chunin. Others are not as good as Uchiha Fugaku. Let's talk. Uchiha Fugaku crossed his arms and squinted at Luhan. I don't have time, I have a mission. Luhan replied quickly, turned around and walked towards the gate. Hey, don't go, I'll just talk to you, what are you afraid of? With a strange voice of yin and yang, a figure stopped in front of Luhan. Level 20 Bronze Boss, Uchiha Porphyra. Looked at it, he looked like a hooligan. I have a mission, Luhan said again with an expressionless face. I heard that you killed an ordinary person some time ago. You were really good. After that, you disappeared for a while, are you locked up? Uchiha Pinyin laughed teasingly. Luhan directly bypassed Uchiha Porphyrion and walked out again. Hey, why are you in such a hurry? Which ordinary person are you going to kill? Our young patriarch just wants to chat with you. Uchiha Pinyin stopped in front of Luhan again. I have a mission. Luhan said this for the third time and avoided it again. Uchiha Pinyin followed immediately and blocked Luhan again, just not letting Luhan go. Luhan circled again. He stopped again. I'm going to fuck. Luhan couldn't bear it anymore. He scolded angrily, and slammed a downward uppercut. The fierce blow hit Uchiha Pinyin's face directly, accompanied by the sound of bone cracks. No Uchiha, who made the slightest reaction, fell to the ground in an instant, as if being hit by a cannonball that fell from the sky. Luhan then raised his foot. Step on Uchiha's head. Boom. The roar was deafening, and the entire mission hall was shocked. Chapter 0126_Go Away. The mission hall was silent, and almost everyone was looking in the direction of Luhan. It's a pity that Uchiha Porphyrion didn't die. The rocky ground beneath Luhan's feet had cracked and pitted. Because someone nearby had already noticed the situation on Luhan's side, just before Luhan was about to crush Uchiha's head, a quick-eyed Jonin grabbed Uchiha's feet and pulled Uchiha's head aside. Many people were already stunned, including the dozen or so teenage ninjas of the Uchiha tribe. They couldn't believe that Han dared to do it here. This is the mission hall. More than a dozen ninjas from the Uchiha tribe came to the mission hall today to find trouble with Luhan. That is, they wanted to ridicule and humiliate Luhan, but they were not ready to do it, because they dared not. What's even more incredible is Luhan's strength. Elite Chunin. Minimum Elite Chunin. Otherwise, it is impossible to make Uchiha Porphyrion helpless. You! The wide-eyed Uchiha Fugaku shouted angrily, looking at Uchiha Porphyrion whose half of his face was smashed on the ground, and then looking at Luhan with a look that was almost going crazy. Damn! What have you done? Uchiha Fugaku growled excitedly at Luhan. I have a mission. I said 3 times that I have a mission. Lu Hansen looked at Uchiha Fugaku coldly and said, there is no reason to obstruct the ninja's mission, and the crime is the same as the betrayal of the village. Call, 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 call. A few whirlwinds suddenly rolled up around, and 5 ninjas appeared one after another. The youngest was in his 20s, and the older ones were over 40 years old. All are big characters in the village. The one with the lowest strength is also the elite Jonin. They just handed over quests in various places in the quest hall, and when they found the information here, they moved over immediately. Mainly because I am afraid that the 2 sides will fight again later. On one side is the young patriarch of the Uchiha clan, and on the other is the only disciple of Tsunade. No matter who is right or wrong, as long as someone is killed or injured, these high-level ninjas are clearly present, but they must be responsible. Notify the guards. The calm voice spoke of a fat ninja about 35 or 6 years old, more than 2 meters tall, like Roshan. Akamichi Stormrage, born in the Akamichi clan of Konoha's important tribe, the public ninja level is the elite Jonin. You're dead. Uchiha Fugaku raised his finger to Luhan, bit Kiba's teeth, and his eyes were bleeding. Luhan ignored Uchiha Fugaku directly, and only glanced at Akamichi Stormrage. Akamichi Stormrage, who seemed huge in the crowd, just frowned, but he didn't see who he was more inclined to. Luhan turned around and left. The crowd that had just surrounded them automatically split their way. Akamichi Fury looked at Luhan's back, frowning deeper, but did not chase after him. It's fine for the two sides to stop fighting, arresting people, considering Luhan's background at this time. It's not suitable for anyone to do it, otherwise it's hard to explain if there are mistakes. Only the Konoha Guard can do it, that's their duty. Konoha Guard ninjas stationed in the mission hall today are just 2 Uchiha Chunin. They didn't dare to stop Luhan, because Luhan's strength at that moment was already at least an elite Chunin. Let's not talk about whether the two of them could stop him, and rushed to Luhan to almost kill the Uchiha ninja in front of Uchiha Fugaku. They did not dare to go. Almost everyone was watching Luhan walk out. Just when Luhan walked to the entrance of the mission hall, 5 whirlwinds rolled up around Luhan at the same time, and 5 Jonins from the Uchiha tribe appeared at the same time. While appearing, they drew their sabers around their waists and surrounded Luhan. The guards are here. Catch him for me, he's going to kill. Uchiha Fugaku's angry cry rang out from behind. Come with us. Help with the investigation. The squad leader, about 40 years old, said coldly among the 5 Konoha Guard ninjas. It's over. Trouble. Isn't he delivering it to the door? They were already at odds. There was a buzzing discussion in the mission hall, and many people were shaking their heads, all aware of the contradiction between Han and Uchiha. It was finally calmed down. Why did the conflict begin? Luhan's performance just now was ruthless. If someone hadn't pulled it in time, Uchiha Porphyon's head would have been crushed. Luhan stopped at the door, glanced around with cold eyes, closed his eyes suddenly, and took a deep breath. Quell anger. Ready to get started. Neither. When Luhan opened his eyes again, 2 whirlwinds rolled up in front of him. 2 ninjas wearing black robes and masks appeared. The appearance of these 2 ninjas made everyone around as a glimpse. Anbu. Anbu is doing business, back away. The Anbu ninja on the left took out the token, shook it around, and put it away again. 5 Konoha Guards Jonin retracted their knives at the same time, nodded respectfully to the Anbu ninja, and took a step back. I see how you die. Uchiha Fugaku called again, not to mention how excited he was. Even alarmed Anbu's law enforcement authority is higher than that of the Konoha Guard. They represent the will of Hokage and have the right to deal with any emergencies that they consider to be important anytime, anywhere. Luhan raised his head slightly, as if thinking of something, then looked back at Uchiha Fugaku, then withdrew his gaze and strode out. The 2 Anbu ninjas stood still, and Luhan passed them by, walked out of the gate of the mission hall, and walked away. There was a sudden silence in the mission hall, which was buzzing with discussions. I will report this matter to Hokage-sama. Anbu ninja, who had taken out the token earlier, spoke again, swept the mission hall with indifferent eyes, and raised his hand. 2 Anbu ninjas raised their hand seal at the same time and disappeared at the door of the mission hall. They didn't catch cold. They let go of the cold. After a period of silence that could almost hear people's heartbeats in the mission hall, the pot suddenly exploded. Anbu is protecting him. It's Anbu. It's Anbu protecting him. It's Lord Hokage's order. Unbelievable, puzzled, stunned, dumbfounded. Various expressions appeared one after another in the mission hall. Just after Luhan left Konoha, the Anbu ninja in charge of keeping Luhan safe in Konoha village ended the mission. Wasn't long before Sarutobi Hiruzen got the news. Chapter-127 Hokage and Danzo_. Inside the quaint lobby. There is a chessboard on the top of the long tree, and 2 middle-aged people are sitting opposite each other, one closes his eyes and rests, the other holds a chess piece and thinks. The latter is a few years older, his face is slightly paler, and his temperament is more gloomy. This person rarely makes any public appearances in the village. Except for Konoha high-level meetings, he hardly sees anyone in his spare time. The only person he sees occasionally is Sarutobi Hiruzen. He, master in hand, holds the most sharp, killing force in Konoha village, root. Exactly. Danzo. Danzo held the chess piece, thought deeply for a long time, glanced at Sarutobi Hiruzen on the opposite side, and then made the move. On the chessboard, Baizi was already on the verge of a big dragon taking off. Danzo dropped a black piece, but he joined the rest of the black pieces, not only bringing Baizi along into a predicament, but also faintly showing the state of slaughtering a dragon. When Sarutobi Hiruzen heard the sound of the move, he opened his eyes and sighed, "Good chess." After saying that, he picked up another white letter and dropped it without thinking. The situation on the chessboard was reversed again. Danzo frowned, picked up Kuroko and played with his fingertips, staring at the board for a long time without a move. Call. Report. A man appeared out of thin air before the wooden collapse, wearing a black robe and a mask. It was the Anbu ninja. Speak. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the Anbu ninja. Just now, Master Han. The Anbu ninja quickly explained the situation. He was one of the two Anbu ninjas who had secretly protected Lu Han before. He saw the situation in the mission hall and said is also clear. The reason to protect Lu Han is naturally the order of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Although he has already passed a letter with the senior management of Omegakure village, the 2 months after the Konoha incident have been calm, but Sarutobi Hiruzen is uneasy, so he is concerned about Lu Han's activities in Konoha village. At the time, a phased protection strategy was adopted, that is, sometimes it would protect, sometimes it would not, and the choice was made based on the location of Lu Han and the time of appearance. At present, Master Han has left the village and joined the team outside the village. The Anbu ninja finally said. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned deeply and looked at the Anbu ninja for a while before speaking. Go and call Uchiha Yokoyama over. Yes. Anbu ninja took the order and disappeared in place. You're still young. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at Danzo, shook his head and sighed. I had high hopes for him, but I did such a stupid thing. Tsunade always said he was smart and clever, but I didn't expect him to be so reckless. Sarutobi Hiruzen naturally didn't. You know how anxious Lu Han was at that time. He's also cunning. Danzo grinned. Not many people could make him laugh and talk. Being able to say things like, obstructing the mission, sinning and betraying the village, is something I thought about, not simply impulse. Quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head again, seemingly disagreeing with Danzo's words. Looks like you didn't expect too much from him, Danzo added. He's an alien. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at the chessboard. For 12 years, he had no talent, was unknown, was ridiculed, and lived in vain. One day, 12 years later, he seemed to wake up suddenly. Now, the accumulation of 12 years, the moment he woke up, became his blockbuster protection, but he did not publicize, did not hate his past, did not entangle with the past grievances. This disposition, really does not it should be on a kid his age. He wasn't originally from our Konoha, Danzo said. You doubt him? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked back, as if asking an unimportant question, still calm. I don't see anything wrong with him. Danzo shook his head. He was more than suspicious. It was almost certain that there was something wrong with Lu Han. Just no proof. He couldn't say it, because there were too many shady things involved. You know that too. Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke again. My apprentices, Tsunade, are too soft. The superficial strength cannot hide the weakness in her heart, Orochimaru. Too poisonous. He can be the best weapon, but not suitable to be the manager of a ninja village, Jiraiya. He is most afraid of trouble. Where's Tsukumo? Danzo asked suddenly. Tsukumo is excellent. Sarutobi Hiruzen gave a very high evaluation. Tsukumo should be honored to hear you say that. Danzo looked down at the board. not letting Sarutobi Hiruzen see his eyes. Ha! Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled and paused before saying, "There are too few people who are worthy of the village's painstaking efforts to cultivate, but it is impossible to find. Konoha needs more juniors who are worthy of training, and they are the guarantee of Konoha's continued glory." It's too early to say that. Danzo looked up. You're still young. Decades later, you're still the greatest Hokage since Konoha was founded. Is it early? Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head and looked out the window. War may break out at any time. This is an inevitable fierce battle. Mito-sama already wants. I can't stop it. This is a ninja world. The catastrophe. You and I may both leave in this catastrophe. Konoha needs more fresh blood. More blood that is more energetic and stronger. Even if I leave, as long as they are still there, Konoha's prosperity will continue. In this way, I also have the face to see the teacher, and I can't live up to his expectations of me. Danzo was silent, looking at the chessboard. Stop talking, let's play chess. Sarutobi Hiruzen also looked at the board. Wow tilde. Tuanran suddenly shoved the pieces on the chessboard in one hand, looked up with a smile and said, "Forget it, don't bother for now, Henshin should be coming over." All right. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. Danzo stood up and greeted Sarutobi Hiruzen, and then Hanseal disappeared into the room. Shortly after. In the dim grotto, the flames in the basins shook chaotically under the influence of the violently fluctuating chakra. In the gloomy atmosphere, the shadows on the walls quickly elongated and shortened as the firelight jumped. Go and kill him for me. Kill him for me. Kill him. The hoarse roar of hysteria echoed in the cave, expressing anger and unwillingness. Why? Why can anyone, only me know? Why? Kill him. I want him to die. Chapter 0128 _ She works hard. Hyuga clan settlement. At the same time Sarutobi Hiruzen got the report. Spacious indoor practice area. Bang bang bang. The sound of fighting continued. Hyuga Luo Ning, who was wearing a white training suit, made a quick move. She moved extremely fast. Hyuga Luo Ning's sparring partner is a fair-skinned and beautiful young ninja named Hyuga Lingyun, who is only 16 or 17 years old, but became Jonin as early as a year ago. Hyuga Lingyun's talent is excellent, and she was recognized as a genius during the ninja school period, but the talent is good in the Hyuga family, which does not mean that she has a very high status. As an ancient famous family that has passed down thousands of years, the Hyuga family attaches great importance to bloodline. No matter how talented the children of the branch family are, they must be prepared to die at any time to protect main clan. Within the branch family, those who are more closely related to main clan have a higher status, and the branch family leader must be the main clan patriarch. Direct blood relatives. The ancestor of Hyuga Lingyun, who has been searched up for 10 generations, is a split family, and has a very distant blood relationship with the contemporary main clan, so her status in the split family is very low, and she is even jealous because of her talent. Therefore, on the surface of Konoha, she is praised by many stars and has many suitors, but she is the only one who knows the bitterness of the separation. No matter how strong she is in the future, a ninja like her can only be a high-level guard in the Hyuga family. However, she has had a lot of luck recently. Just over 2 months ago, when Hyuga Luo Ning returned from a mission, he was chased by dozens of foreign ninjas and nearly died. How the crisis was resolved, Hyuga Lingyun did not know, and after that, the Hyuga branch reselected the ninja to accompany Hyuga Luo Ning in training and missions, and wanted Jonin. Hyuga Luo Ning personally selected Hyuga Lingyun. Hyuga Lingyun is very grateful to Hyuga Luo Ning. Hyuga Luo Ning's position in the younger generation of the branch family is second only to Hyuga Hazashi, the head of the branch family. She is the cousin of Hyuga Hazashi and the head of the main clan's younger head, Hyuga Hiyashi, and the niece of Hyuga main clan's contemporary head, Hyuga Huyang, and is also a contemporary branch family. The only daughter of Hyuga Haeyang. Hyuga Huyang and Hyuga Haeyang are brothers. If it weren't for the fact that Hyuga Huyang gave birth to 2 sons, one of them would have inherited the position of the head of the branch when one of them was sent to the branch, and the young head of the branch would be Hyuga Luo Ning. While the likelihood of a girl becoming the head of the final branch is not high, it is not without precedent. Such an identity. Hyuga Lingyun can follow Hyuga Luo Ning at this time. She can only thank God for blessing. Since she was selected by Hyuga Luo Ning, her status in the branch has skyrocketed. Some of the high-level children of the branch who had been honest with her before were starting to curry favor. There were two people standing at the door of the training ground. The man on the left was in his 30s, with a strong back and a strong waist. He was the head of the branch family, Hyuga Haeyoung. Next to Hyuga Haeyoung is a male ninja about 20 years old. He is also a Hyuga ninja with white eyes and looks quite handsome. This person is the most famous high-level son of the Hyuga branch, the grandson of the chief elder of the Hyuga branch, Hyuga Beitai. Hyuga Beitai is just over 20 years old, and his strength is close to the elite Jonin. With his identity and potential, as long as he does not die in the future, he must be one of the top leaders in the branch. Patriarch, in the past month, Luo Ning has been working harder and harder, and the changes have been huge. Hyuga Beitai suddenly spoke in admiration, his eyes chasing the petite figure that was constantly moving in the field. Yeah, when I grow up, I no longer fool around, I'm really sensible. Hyuga Haeyoung nodded with a smile, feeling relieved. He could feel that since his daughter started practicing the exercises about a month ago, she had been working harder. Although the change was a bit sudden, it was a good thing, and Hyuga Haeyoung was naturally happy. Luo Ning Shi, Hyuga Beitai spoke again, and before he finished speaking, he exclaimed, "Be careful." However, on the field, Hyuga Lingyun reached out to avoid Hyuga Luo Ning's defense. Her arm twisted like a snake, and was imprinted on Hyuga Luo Ning's shoulder in an instant. The person flew out uncontrollably, and fell heavily on the ground more than 10 meters away. "Damn it! You dare to hurt Luo Ning!" Hyuga Beitai said angrily, and he was about to rush into the arena with a grim look. A hand pressed on Hyuga Beitai's shoulder. Hyuga Beitai looked back and was greeted by Hyuga Haeyoung's majestic eyes. He immediately lowered his head and did not dare to move. "Miss." Hyuga Lingyun has hurriedly ran to Hyuga Luo Ning, trying to help Hyuga Luo Ning up. Hyuga Luo Ning didn't speak, not even waving her hand. "See this scene." Hyuga Haeyoung nodded slightly again, looked at Hyuga Beitai again and said, "Let's go out, don't disturb Luo Ning practice here." "Yes," Hyuga Beitalian respectfully said, then quickly turned around and pushed open the door of the practice area. Hyuga Haeyoung strode out, and Hyuga Beitai followed, and then turned around and closed the door. Outside the practice ground is a courtyard, and the two of them walked down the steps one after the other. "Beitai," Hyuga Haeyoung, who was walking in front, said suddenly. "Patriarch," Hyuga Beitai responded. "Do you like Luo Ning?" Hyuga Haeyoung asked. Yes, Hyuga Beitai stuttered a little, looked up at Hyuga Haeyoung in surprise. "Patriarch, Luo Ning is still young," Hyuga Haeyoung said, looking back at Hyuga Beitai slightly. "You know, I don't like forcing her to do something. If you really like her, go after her." In the Hyuga family, because of the ancient and decadent rules and control methods, there is no such thing as mutual enhancement of power through marriage, and the main clan has the final say. The will of the main clan is everything, so Hyuga Haeyoung will not Hyuga Beitai as the grandson of the great elder. No matter what happens, Hyuga Luo Ning is the cousin of the main clan young patriarch, and her position in the Hyuga family will be more stable than anyone else. In the training ground, not long after Hyuga Haeyoung left. Call. Whirlwind rolled up, and a Hyuga middle-aged ninja appeared out of thin air, knelt down on one knee and said, "Miss. What happened not long ago, in the mission hall, Han and Uchiha Fugaku clashed. They." Hyuga Luo Ning, who was still sitting on the ground and rubbing her shoulders, suddenly raised her head, looked at the middle-aged ninja and listened carefully. Chapter 0129 _ Cold Light. The middle-aged ninja of Hyuga, family soon explained the situation. Hyuga Luo Ning was stunned after hearing this, and waved her hand. Go. Yes. The middle-aged ninja took the order and disappeared. Hyuga Luo Ning suddenly stood up from the ground, grabbed her shoulder with one hand, pinched it subconsciously, turned her head and looked out the window. Her eyes were slightly lost, and her thoughts were up and down. He is no longer what he used to be. He is no longer the taciturn, shy and stubborn boy, no longer the recognized waste. He has spread his wings. Hyuga Luo Ning recalled the past. That day, that scene, that moment, that moved her the most, for a long time. What about me? Hyuga Luo Ning asked herself. Sighed, Hyuga Lingyun looked at Hyuga Luo Ning with a somewhat uneasy look. She is Jonin, and her strength is far greater than that of Hyuga Luo Ning. Normally, she acts as a sparring partner for Hyuga Luo Ning, and she will never miss the possibility. But she didn't know what happened to Hyuga Luo Ning recently. She practiced more and more desperately. Although she made rapid progress, it also caused Hyuga Luo Ning's performance to be unstable. Many times, it was Hyuga Lingyun who didn't have time to adjust her coping state, so she missed to hit Hyuga Luo Ning. Miss, why don't you take a rest first? You started practicing from the morning today, and you didn't even eat lunch. Hyuga Lingyun couldn't help but said. Hyuga Luo Ning came back to her senses, looked at Hyuga Lingyun and immediately shook her head. No, I'm not tired. Come again. Hyuga Luo Ning jumped up in an instant, reaching out and hitting the shoulder acupoint of Hyuga Lingyun. Hyuga Lingyun was suddenly startled. Hyuga Luo Ning's attack was extremely fierce. Her physical strength had decreased, but her movements were quicker, and even gave Hyuga Lingyun a sense of threat. Miss, what's the matter? Hyuga Lingyun had questions in her heart when she saw the tricks. In the afternoon, the forest in the southern part of the Land of Fire. It is already October. The northern countries of the ninja world have already turned cold, and the country of fire is still hot in summer. Just after noon, the sun is still hanging in the sky like a fireball, exuding an annoying heat. The forest. Although the wind was blowing, it was still hot. Lu Han, who was wearing a black robe and a mask, jumped on the tree and continued to move south. This time, Lu Han served as the captain of the temporary scout and went to the Land of Water to perform a mission, and led a total of 5 Anbu Jonin, including Lu Han, a total of 6 people. While Lu Han was jumping, he was always accompanied by 2 black-robed masked ninjas, both of whom Lu Han knew very well. They were brothers Kato Kai and Kato Feng. There were also 3 Anbu ninjas, all Jonin, who followed further behind, sometimes jumping in the trees, sometimes running wildly into the trees on the ground, keeping an eye on the surroundings. Teacher, are they really going in that direction? Lu Han asked suddenly. That's right. Kato Feng, who was following by the side, said with certainty. After Tsunade, Sama and the others left the village, they didn't hide their traces. This is the direction. Lu Han only left the village not long ago. After meeting with the 5 Anbu ninjas, he asked if he saw the 3 Tsunade come out, and got a positive answer. The time when Tsunade and Lu Han left the village, that is, the front and back feet, but until now, Lu Han has not seen Tsunade's shadow. Speed up. Lu Han was silent for a while and suddenly said again, taking the lead in speeding up. The 6-member ninja team accelerated as a whole and moved south in a faster direction. After an hour, the orange text that Lu Han had always hoped to appear still did not appear. From a distance, it was the same as before. There was only a seemingly endless forest. Lord Hangwang, Kato Kai said hesitantly. What? Lu Han replied while jumping. Cold Light. It was Lu Han's code name in Anbu, one more character than his name. In fact, this is illegal. Anbu code name. It is best not to have any connection with the real name of the ninja, but Lu Han can be willful, because he is a non-combat ninja, and when he first checked in, Sarutobi Yushuan was on the side, and he was very good at talking. Lu Han likes the code name Hangwang, and he came up with it himself. Why are we chasing Tsunade, Sama and the others? Kato Kai expressed his doubts. He wanted to ask when he first started chasing, but during the mission, Luhan was the captain and he was a team member, so it was difficult for him to use his identity as a friend. Ask questions, and according to Anbu's rules, during the mission, don't ask questions that shouldn't be asked. Kato Kai couldn't help it. Confidential. Luhan replied 2 words. He didn't want to explain, and couldn't explain it. The team continued to move forward, very fast. Luhan's eyes suddenly widened, and then his face showed joy. He finally saw that on a tree in the distance, there were 3 lines of orange text that were very close to each other. It was Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru. They seemed to have slowed down because of something, which made Luhan and others catch up. Luhan waved his hand and made a gesture of finding the target, reminding him to hide. Where? Kato asked subconsciously, staring at him, but he didn't see anyone at all. With his strength, he could see very far. Luhan pointed in the direction again, but said nothing. In the forest several hundred meters ahead. The 3 Tsunade slowed down their progress. Jiraiya held a scroll in her hand, as if she was looking at something, and after a while she raised her head and smiled. Okay, let's go. Orochimaru was as indifferent as ever. Tsunade nodded, and the 3 suddenly picked up their speed. In the rear, with Luhan's gesture, the Anbu team also accelerated suddenly. Orochimaru frowned, suddenly raised his hand and made a warning gesture. The 3 of them stopped at the same time. Orochimaru looked back, and before he could speak, Jiraiya wondered, someone is following us. This way we can feel it, there is no threat. Tsunade continued, I'll take a look. Whoosh. Tsunade rushed out, like a cannonball flying horizontally, with only a trace of rapidity. Tsunade is not only a medical ninja, she is good at taijutsu and has a huge amount of chakra. She has the fastest speed among the 3. Chapter 0130_exhausted. From a distance, Luhan saw the orange name displayed as Tsunade, approaching at an extreme speed, and immediately raised his hand to signal. The entire advancing team stopped immediately, and Luhan said in a low voice, we have been discovered. Very helpless tone, the strength gap is too big, even if Luhan has the ability to keep track, others can't. Wow! Just a few seconds later, as soon as a glimpse appeared in everyone's sight, Tsunade suddenly stopped on the tree branch in front of the team, frowned and swept a few people. Master Tsunade, all the other Anbu ninjas greeted respectfully. Luhan didn't say a word, he was thinking about how to explain. Tsunade's eyes swept around, and his eyes finally fell on Luhan. With a strange expression on her face, she could see who it was. Although she was wearing a mask, Tsunade's body and height were familiar. Call. Tsunade came to Luhan's side in a flash, grabbed Luhan's neck, squeezed it hard, and said fiercely, Little devil, why are you following me? Teacher, let go first. Let go first. Luhan had to whisper, a little embarrassed. After finally leading the team out to carry out the mission, Luhan was the majestic captain just a moment ago, but now he was completely destroyed by Tsunade, and he was directly beaten back to form a kid. Although he didn't hear the laughter, Luhan could imagine the smirks on Kato's faces. Don't let go, talk. Why are you following us? Tsunade still hugged Luhan's neck and squeezed hard. By the way, Luhan bit the bullet and said. Fart. Tsunade didn't believe Luhan, but he let go of his arm, took off Luhan's mask, and poked Luhan's forehead with his finger, little liar. Not honest at all, you lied to me again. You obviously going to the land of water. I should go east and board the boat on the east coast, why did you come here? Quote. Perhaps it was because he was too familiar with Luhan. Tsunade did not feel unfamiliar with Luhan anymore, and his behavior was straightforward and casual. The only person who could be treated like this by Tsunade in public before was only Jiraiya, who had a good relationship to a certain extent. Just humiliating. Call. 2 cyclones suddenly rolled up behind Tsunade, and Jiraiya and Orochimaru appeared at the same time. Oh, it's you. Jiraiya was stunned, looked at Tsunade, and then at Lu Han. What's the situation? Orochimaru didn't say anything. The sharp aura on his body suddenly restrained a lot. Not an enemy, so he let go of his killing intent. Why are you following us? Tsunade grabbed Lu Han's collar again and asked fiercely. It's really on the way. Lu Han was dead and duck-mouthed. We can go to the country of water, or we can go to the country of vortex first. There is the largest trading port in the ninja world, and the boat to the country of water is faster, and it is not a detour. Quote. Not honest. Humph. Tsunade still didn't believe it, and immediately looked at Anbu Ninja beside Lu Han and asked, You said, did you follow us on purpose? Go back to Tsunade, Sama. The cold voice was Kato. During the mission, without the captain's order, I can't reveal any information to you. You really are following us. Tsunade was completely convinced this time. He stared at Lu Han. Hey, did you make a mistake? He didn't say anything. Lu Han cried out strangely. It's because he didn't say anything. Tsunade looked at everything. Normally, he is your subordinate and will speak with you. If you say go by the way, he should say go by the way. But he didn't say that. This shows that you are lying, and he can't lie to me, so he said nothing. Lu Han's expression changed, looking at Tsunade as if he had discovered something novel. Can you analyze this? In fact, this is not difficult to analyze, but Lu Han has lied to Tsunade so many times that he has some doubts about Tsunade's IQ. Tsunade's IQ is of course no problem. No matter how careless she is still rough and subtle. As long as you give her clues, her analytical skills are far superior to the average Anbujanin. Okay, I want to follow you. Lu Han had to admit, raising his hand slightly in a gesture of surrender. Why don't you do your job well and follow us? Tsunade asked. I want to help. Lu Han was talking nonsense again, and it was true from another point of view, but he couldn't explain it clearly. He couldn't tell Tsunade that he knew Tsunade would be in danger, so he followed. This is my first this time. I performed the mission as an Anbu ninja, and I took people with me. Mr. Tsunade, didn't you go to the country of vortex? We can also go to the country of water by taking the route of the country of vortex, or we can go on the road together. Maybe we can help what? This is the best result. On the road with Tsunade, Lu Han doesn't know how much he can help, but at least he has to do his best. No, Tsunade resolutely rejected Lu Han, but his face softened a lot, and he was still very happy, but on the surface he still displayed the majesty of a teacher. You have your tasks. I have mine, you can't mess around. You know. Besides, the mission we are going to perform is not something you can participate in. Tsunade, Han is also a filial piety. It doesn't matter if you just go to the country of vortex with us. Jiraiya's voice came from behind. Lu Han has a black line on his forehead, full of filial piety. The word used. Shut up. Tsunade glanced back at Jiraiya. Jiraiya looked embarrassed, touched her nose and stopped talking. Han, listen to me, we don't need your help with our mission, understand? Tsunade looked at Lu Han again, very serious. Got it. Lu Han could only agree. Good. Tsunade suddenly smiled, hugged Lu Han's forehead and kissed, and said, when we complete the mission of the land of vortex, we may go to the land of water to find you, so be careful. You are also careful, Lu Han said. Tsunade touched Lu Han's hair, then turned around and waved to Jiraiya Orochimaru. The three left quickly. With a dead fish-eye expression on his face, Lu Han watched the three of them disappear into the vast forest ahead. PFF'd. Ha ha ha, Hangwang, Lord Hangwang, I can't do it, ha ha ha. Kato finally couldn't bear it anymore. He burst out laughing, and while apologizing, he couldn't straighten his waist with laughter. Lu Han's image is ruined. Is it that funny? Lu Han said weakly, picking up the mask and putting it on again. Exhausted. Chapter-121-140 Uzushiogakure Village. Kato didn't smile anymore, because Kato Feng quietly pulled him aside. In fact, other people would not find it so funny, mainly because Kato Kai had too much contact with Lu Han and was used to Lu Han's calm indifference. As a result, in front of Tsunade, Lu Han showed the contrast as really hilarious. Lord Hengguang, we, Kato Feng said. We, Lu Han paused before saying, keep chasing. But, Tsunade, Sama didn't say. This time it was Kato who spoke up. He had recovered his emotions and his voice was a little anxious. Besides, our mission is to go to the land of water, although it is not impossible to follow the route of the land of vortex, but just now, Lord Hengguang said that he was going to help Lord Tsunade and the others. This chase. Lu Hankai didn't care so much, he waved his hand and rushed out first. He is the captain, can be willful. The other 5 ninjas looked at each other, helpless, and could only keep up. Anbu's rules are strict, especially during the mission. The team members must implement the captain's will. Even if they feel that the captain is wrong, they can only wait until they return to Konoha village to explain the situation to their superiors. During the mission, what the captain said, the team members must be done. Front. The 3 of Tsunade were moving fast, and Orochimaru suddenly frowned again, glanced back slightly, and said in a low voice, they are catching up again. This little guy is not afraid of being beaten, Jiraiya said with a smile. Tsunade's face was black, but a sense of powerlessness rose in his heart, biting Kiba and muttering, bastard kid. What a mess. During this mission, Lu Han has full autonomy, Tsunade has no right to interfere with his actions, and only Captain Anbu can issue orders to Lu Han, only Hokage, so Tsunade can't order Lu Han. Secondly, Lu Han was not very obedient, and Tsunade couldn't handle Lu Han very well either. Why don't we go on the road together? Jiraiya said again, it's actually nothing, wait until the country of the vortex. Jiraiya's voice stopped abruptly, because Tsunade had turned his head and gave Jiraiya a gloomy look. Okay. Jiraiya waved his hand quickly, when I didn't say it. You really love him. In fact, Jiraiya knows the danger of this mission. Not an Anbu team of this level can participate. Even if they go on the same road, the country of the vortex is not in danger immediately, but no one can tell what the situation will be. Accelerate. Tsunade turned back to look at the road ahead and let out a low snort. The 3 suddenly speed up. Lu Han and others who followed behind also speeded up. Follow closely. After an hour. At Lu Han's signal, the Anbu team stopped, and Lu Han stood on the height of the towering tree, looking at the south. He can't see the trace of Tsunade 3 again, lost track. Although he already knew that this would be the case, after all, the gap in strength was too great, but Lu Han couldn't help but sigh. Map, Lu Han called out. Kato Kai jumped to Lu Han's side and handed over the opened scroll map. The other Anbu ninjas also gathered around Lu Han. Lu Han looked at the map, tapped his finger on it twice, and drew a route, and finally said, take this route. Get to the country of vortex as soon as possible. Uzushiogakure, are there any of our people in the village? Yes, Kato Rifle responded. In the Sengoku era, the Uzushiogakure village in the country of vortex was also a powerful force. The powerful sealing technique of the master of the Uzumaki clan who ruled the country of vortex made the entire ninja world fearful, but the population of the Uzumaki clan was not large, and as the war was depleted the population became less and less, which led to the decline of the country of vortex, and then with the establishment of the village of Konoha, the Kingdom of Fire, the Kingdom of Vortex forged a permanent alliance with the Kingdom of Fire in order to seek refuge. At this time, Uzushiogakure village is the most reliable ally of Konoha village. Otherwise, Uzushiogakure village would not be able to let Konoha take Uzumaki Kushina away, knowing that Uzumaki Kushina will become the next generation of Kyuubi, Nine-Tails people Jinchuriki column force. Except for the high-level Konoha, there are only a few high-rises in Uzushiogakure village. Go on the road, target Uzushiogakure village. Lu Han put away the map and said. Yes. Several Anbu ninjas agreed in unison. Lu Han already knew the details of Tsunade's mission in the land of Vortex this time, so he can speculate that they will definitely go to Uzushiogakure village, at least have to rest and replenish, and get the latest information on the mission through Uzushiogakur village. 2 days and 2 nights later, on the southeastern border of the Land of Fire. The Anbu team is advancing at full speed. In the past 2 days, Luhan and the team have not had much rest. Most of the time they are on the road. Luhan is very impatient. If Tsunade Sanin is on the road at full speed without stopping, he might have entered the vortex at this time. Within the territory of the country, Luhan did not dare to slack off. The forest in front is still endless green, with tall and dense trees, entwined vines, undulating hillsides, and a lot of vegetation. The line of sight was blocked by various obstacles, so I couldn't see too far. Lord Hangguang, you should be more careful. Kato didn't know how many times he said this. You are always at the front. If there is an emergency, we may not be able to protect you in time. I'm not that vulnerable, Luhan replied. I know. Yes, you are a genius. Kato was full of helplessness. But your current strength is still far from ours. It is our blame to protect you. If you make a mistake, we will not be able to explain it when we go back. Warning, Luhan suddenly said, suddenly on the branch of the tree. Whoa, 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 whoa. Kato jumped at the same time, distributed around Luhan, protected Luhan in the middle, and pulled out their weapons in unison. Luhan stared ahead and frowned slightly. Kato, who was already standing not far in front of Luhan, glanced vigilantly. Although he had not joined Anbu for a few years, he was experienced in tasks and was bold and careful, but he didn't find anything. Lord Hangguang, don't be too nervous, Kato cracked, thinking that Luhan was overreacting. Luhan's brows were already wrinkled deeper, his eyes were a little confused and puzzled. Ahead, Luhan raised his hand and pointed, 430 meters away, there is a target to live. Do it. Yes. Luhan's back and beside him rang out with promises. Except for Kato Kai, the other 4 Jonin rushed out in no time. Chapter 0132_Ghost Force. The 4 figures in black robes quickly bounced and jumped between the trees. Luhan had already explained the direction and distance, so even if they couldn't see the target, they knew where to go. Kato stayed. He wanted to protect Luhan's safety. He looked back at Luhan with a look of, are you kidding me? Bullshit. In this dense forest, other than the Hyuga family, who can see the situation beyond 400 meters? Let's go over, Luhan said, taking Kato Kai to jump in that direction without hesitation. Isn't it true? Kato Kai couldn't help asking. What do you think? Luhan glanced at Kato. Boom. Roar suddenly sounded, and the Sarutobi mountain forest was full of fire and smoke. Kato's face changed greatly. It was Kaden fire-style ninjutsu. It's already called. When Luhan and Kato arrived at the scene unhurriedly, the battle was over. There was an open space in the forest, a tree was destroyed, the broken tree fell to the ground, and the flames were still burning, and the surrounding was scorched. The battle was well resolved. Anbu's 4 Jonins, including Kato Feng, who was slightly weaker than Kato, were their opponents who were also Jonin, but they were not opponents at all. On the ground where the mud rolled, a middle-aged ninja about 40 years old knelt down on one knee, holding a long knife to support the ground, covered in blood and pale. His right leg and shoulder had been pierced by kunai, and his back had also been slashed. There was no possibility of running, and he lost a lot of blood. He was very frightened and didn't know why he was attacked by these 4 black-robed ninjas. Could it be that the action plan was discovered? The 4 black-robed ninja grandmasters cooperated and attacked again, leaving the middle-aged ninja powerless. You, who are you? The middle-aged ninja roared with difficulty. Anbu 4 ninja stood in the 4 directions of the middle-aged ninja, holding a knife in his hand. His breath was cold, and he did not speak. Call. 2 whirlwinds rolled up in front of the middle-aged ninja, and Luhan and Kato Kai appeared. Kato Kai's face changed again, but he was wearing a mask, and no one could see the change in his face. At the same time as he made a sound, he glanced at Lu Han. His eyes were extremely incredible. How did you find out? How is it possible to find out? Are there any traces around? How is the distance calculated? Of course Lu Han couldn't explain, and he didn't need his opponent to explain. In fact, it is better not to explain. It will make people feel that Lu Han is mysterious and powerful, and from any point of view, it is beneficial to Lu Han. Lu Han looked at the middle-aged ninja who was seriously injured. Yuhi name. Kurigakure Anbu Scout, Level 30 Bronze Boss, Ghost Lantern Longwu. It is the elite Jonin of Anbu in Kurigakure Village, the land of water. He shouldn't be here. Lu Han was very puzzled before. This place is very close to the country of Vortex. It is the border between the country of fire and the country of Vortex. There are no minerals and other resources nearby, and it is a non-strategic area with little value. What is he doing here? Passing by. Where are you going? Judging from his name as Yuhi, he came for Konoha, but since he was targeting Konoha, he should have landed on the eastern coast of the Land of Fire, and shouldn't have come here. You. Who are you? Ghost Lantern Longwu exclaimed. He could see that Lu Han was the leader, because Lu Han and Kato appeared last, and Kato was at the back. I should ask you, who are you? Lu Han made a hoarse and low voice. Maybe, I will let you go. Me. My name is Longwu. Ghost Lantern Longwu immediately said, cold sweat on his forehead because of the pain and blood loss. I'm a freedom ninja. Why are you attacking me? Who are you? He lied. The so-called free ninjas are ninjas who do not belong to any officially recognized ninja village, and some missing nin will also call themselves so. Konoha, Anbu, Lu Han admitted generously, then squatted down and looked at the ghost lamp Longwu. Why lie to me? I didn't lie to you. Ghost Lantern Longwu was excited, and he was another good performer. As a Kurigakure Anbu, he more or less has this kind of talent. Sir, we just rummaged through his luggage and didn't find it. Kato Feng suddenly said. Yeah, Lu Han responded with a nasal voice, still staring at the ghost lamp Longwu's eyes. You are from Kurigakure Village, right? I'm not. Ghost Lantern Longwu denied excitedly, but Lu Han noticed that his pupils contracted violently. Very problematic. Lu Han looked at the ghost lamp Longwu, frowning in thought. He knows. Tsunade's mission in the country of Vortex is related to the village of Kurigakure in the country of water. Now I found the Anbu ninja of Kurigakure village here again, and this Kurigakure ninja is afraid of being known, among which. Lu Han thought about standing up slowly. Suddenly, as if he felt something, he suddenly raised his head and looked towards the south. Yuhi name. Yuhi name. Yuhi name. Yuhi name. Yuhi name. Yuhi name. Lu Han's heart trembled violently. He saw a large group of Yuhi names moving among the trees in the distance, approaching quickly. The number of Lu Han could not be counted for a while. Those Yuhi ninja names were divided into two types. One was prefixed with Kurigakure Anbu, and the other was Kurigakure Ghost Troop. They are approaching silently. Lu Han has seen at least over 100 people. It includes at least 10 Jonins, plus elite Jonins with a rating of 40. That's not all. He didn't come alone. Ghost Lantern Longwu is not alone. He is just the vanguard scout of the army. It is used for forward reconnaissance when the ninja army is marching. Damn. Whoa, the light of the sword suddenly appeared, and Lu Han pulled out the long sword without warning. Taking advantage of the situation, he chopped off the head of Ghost Lantern Longwu, who was seriously injured and could no longer resist. More than 10 pieces of falling objects exploded. Sir, several Anbu ninjas were stunned. Kato called out, and he cut people before he could ask them clearly. We are surrounded, break through with me. Lu Han whispered. Before he could explain, he rushed out first. The Kurigakure Anbu ninja had already occupied the perfect observation position, and when the Konoha Anbu team suddenly set off, the sharp whistle also rang through the forest. Never let them run away. A man's roar came from the distant forest. Chapter 0133 _ Extreme Escape. The vast forest. On the southeastern border of the Fire Nation, due to the change of tree species, the vegetation here is denser, the trees and vines are intertwined, and there are many shelters. It is easy to hide here, to quietly approach the enemy, and to escape. Don't run. Lu Han had made a mistake before. He knew that he should not let Anbu Shiren go ahead and arrest people, because Kato Feng and the four moved forward first, and they were exposed the moment they started, and they didn't have Lu Han's ability, cannot find out that Ghost Lantern Longwu is just a pioneer scout. And when Lu Han rushed over, the Kurigakure ninja troops were already hidden. In fact, Lu Han didn't find them immediately, which is also very incredible. There is only one possibility, that is, they are all hiding behind a wide enough obstacle, even their names are blocked, Lu Han can't see through, naturally can't see in time. This way. Lu Han led the 5 Anbu Jonin to move rapidly in the forest, constantly changing directions. As long as Lu Han glanced at it, he could tell that there were ninjas approaching in that direction, or an ambush, and he could avoid it. Never let them go, never. The roar echoed in the forest again. Lu Han already understood that this was a secret operation of Kurigakure village, sending at least one brigade of ninjas into the country of fire. Because Lu Han and others discovered their whereabouts, they will never let anyone escape. Run away. There are too many people. At this time, even if Lu Han exploded his full strength, he would not be able to win against them regardless of the loss. Unless his strength takes another big step, reaching the level of Jiraiya's strength. This way. Lu Han led the people to turn to escape again. He noticed that a figure appeared 300 meters away from the right front, and it appeared through teleportation. Great Yuhi name. Captain of the Kurigakure Ghost Force, Level 40 Gold Boss, Peach Whalen. He was the man who issued roaring orders again and again. Level 40 Gold Boss, this is the limit of Elite Jonin. He is not as good as Jiraiya and Orochimaru in pure combat power, but should be able to compete with Tsunade barely. 120 meters ahead, 2 targets, don't use ninjutsu. Shouted Lu Han, who was moving fast in the bushes. 120 meters, in an instant. 2 Kurigakure Chunin wanted to set an ambush, barely delaying the time, but as soon as they appeared, they were shot and killed by dozens of kunai flying in. There is no fighting back. Not to mention Lu Han, the other 5 are all Jonin. In the case of knowing the other party's ambush in advance, it is very easy to solve. 2 hours later, Lu Han successfully broke through and disappeared without a trace with the 5 Anbu. It wasn't easy for him, but he did it. In the 2 hours of frantically escaping and fleeing, Lu Han has confirmed the approximate number of people in this team, more than 250 people. Only a dozen of them are Kurigakure Anbu ninjas, and the rest are Kurigakure Ghost Force ninjas. A super spec ninja team. Generally speaking, the number of a ninja brigade should be between 150 and 200 people. 3 or 4 ninja brigade constitute a ninja wing. 3 or 4 ninja wing can constitute a complete ninja army. Above the army it is the most advanced coalition level. Kurigakure Village Ghost Troop. Lu Han remembered. This is a very mysterious and powerful ninja team. The reason why it is mysterious is that Lu Han, who has read all the important confidential information from the beginning of Konohonbu's establishment to the present, has never heard of the name, Ghost Force. Then there is only one possibility. The Ghost Force of Kurigakure Village has just formed an army in recent years and belongs to the top secret force. On the southeastern border of the Fire Nation, shortly after Lu Han disappeared with his people, the place where the Ghost Lantern Longwu died. A large number of ninjas gathered, and more ninjas who had just dispersed were rushing over. It was the Kurigakure Ghost Force. They all wore uniform ninja uniforms and dark green cloaks. Mainly male ninjas, all of them looked indifferent. The captain of the ghost team, Teodi Whalen, stood in front of the corpse of Ghost Lantern Longwu, with a chill in his eyes. It made people run away. Is the action exposed like this? Who is it? Teodi Whalen thought of all kinds of possibilities, but he denied it, because there is a problem here. That is, the 6 ninjas have the ability to escape from being surrounded by more than 200 ninjas. What is their strength? If the strength is strong, why fear a battle? If you are not strong, how can you escape? Can't figure it out. Call. Sir. The whirlwind rolled up behind Teodi Whalen, and the middle-aged ninja appeared on one knee and said, "The casualty statistics have been completed. 16 people died, 2 Jonins, 14 Chunins, and no injuries." Teodi Whalen's heart sank. Don't stay alive. As long as they choose to attack the breakout rather than the dodging target, none of them will be left alive. The action is fast, the judgment is accurate, and the killing is decisive. This is no ordinary ninja squad. The atmosphere was dignified, more than 200 ninjas gathered around, and it seemed that the darkness was overwhelming. Teodi Whalen thought about it, moved his footsteps subconsciously, surrounded Ghost Lantern Longwu's body, and just walked half a circle. Teodi Whalen's eyes narrowed, as if he saw something. He squatted down and pushed away Ghost Lantern Longwu's body. Headless corpse. There are words on the ground. It was written on the ground with his fingers. Judging from the position of the words, it should have been written by Gaidong Longwu when he knelt on one knee on the ground and found an opportunity to write it quietly. He knew that he would die, so he left the information. Words, Konoha Anbu. Anbu. Daodi Whalen's expression changed, followed by a deeper frown. A sturdy bald-headed ninja walked up to Teodi Whalen, frowned at the words on the ground, and said angrily, "Brother, could it be Captain Anbu?" No. Teodi Whalen shook his head decisively. If it's Konoha's Anbu Captain, the one who escaped should be us. No one knows the location of the ghost force better than Teodi Whalen. This is not a team responsible for frontal combat. Therefore, in terms of strength configuration, it is not strong. Teodi Whalen was even more incomprehensible. Since he was a ninja of Konoha Anbu, he could not be the captain of Konoha Anbu. Who would that be? Can lead people to successfully break through under the siege and interception of a well-trained ninja team, who has such ability in Konoha Anbu. Chapter 0134_Insight Map. Big brother, what should I do now? Asked the bald ninja on the side. Everyone else can only be called adults, but he is called Big Brother because he is Teodi Whalen's younger brother and the captain's assistant of the Ghost Army. His name is Dao Demengelan. Our whereabouts have been known by Konoha Anbu. Momochi Whalen's face was ugly. The stealth of the Ghost Force's actions was an important part of the Kurigakure village's plan for Uzushiogakure village. Now it has been exposed, and it may even lead to the failure of the plan. Damn it! Teodi Whalen bit Kiba and shouted abruptly, "The flying ninja team listens. Allot half of them and try their best to find the Konoha Anbu ninja who had disappeared before. Once found, shoot them." Big brother, no, Teodi Mengelan said urgently, "The flying ninja team is the biggest guarantee for our safety. If I can't manage that much." Teodi Whalen interrupted Teodi Mengelan's words with a wave of his hand, with a stern tone. "Our whereabouts have been exposed, and we must try our best to remedy it. Take action." Yes. A promise came from the edge of the clearing. There were dozens of ninjas standing there. After Momochi Whalen's order, the other ninjas all jumped away. Only 9 ninjas remained, and they bit their fingers at the same time. Hand seal. Spiritual. 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 Bang, bang, bang. Smoke rose in front of the 9 ninjas one after another, but they saw huge seabirds appear. Each seabird was more than 4 meters long, with strong legs, 6 or 7 meters in length when its wings spread, with black necks and white heads. Looks extremely handsome. Large flying ninja. Water fairy. The extremely precious flying ninja beast. In the entire ninja world, there is only the country of water that has this kind of manned flying ninja beast. It is extremely unbelievable that the Ghost Army has 18 ninjas who can psychic water crossing eagles. Even the main army of the Water Kingdom during the war would never be equipped with such precious psychic beasts. It is no longer a luxury to describe. 9 Kurigakure ninjas completed the channeling, and all jumped on the back of Shuadu Ying, ready to lift off. Wait a minute. Teodi Wayland raised his hand again, looked around and said, "You have two tasks. First, to find the 6 Konoha Anbu ninjas, who are eager to pass the information to the Konoha village. The direction of their escape is southeast. That's the direction of the country of Vortex, so they should go to Uzushiogakure village, pass the information to Konoha through Uzushiogakure village. You must find them before they reach Uzushiogakure village. If you're really unlucky, you can't find it. Your second mission is to ambush the little flying ninja beast who quickly passed on information to Konoha from the village of Uzushiogakure. Do you understand?" "Understood." There was a roar of promise. "Go. Call, call." The 9-headed gigantic water eagle carrying the ninja soared into the sky, reaching an altitude of 1,000 meters at an extreme speed. Under the command of the ninja, it flew towards the southeast. Teodi Wayland has been staring at the sky, and has not looked back for a long time. His heart has been completely raised. If it weren't for the importance of this plan, he would never have given such an order. Once Shui Daying makes a mistake, it is not enough for him to apologize for his death. Although the possibility of encountering danger is very low for the water eagle that can fly at high altitude, and the ninja on the ground is strong and can't fly, it is difficult to hit, but no one can guarantee that there will be no problems. The ninjutsu listed as forbidden technique can still attack the sky target, but there are very few ninjas who know this kind of ninjutsu. 8 hours later, it was already nighttime. The southwestern border of the country of Vortex, in the rolling hills, behind a leeward mountain wall, in the dark night, the fire burns at the entrance of the cave, exuding scorching heat. Grilled meat on the fire. Kato and other 5 Anbu ninjas sit around the fire. Beside the heap, talking in a low voice. "It's incredible. Can't imagine how it was done. I'm afraid, even if the original number was said to be the Kakai of the Anbu mythology, it doesn't have the ability. Of course, Zhaohai is definitely not as good as Lord Hangguang, otherwise why would he be killed by Lord Hangguang?" Since they settled here and rested, the 5 people's conversations have not stopped. 8 hours ago, Luhan showed them what the godlike reconnaissance and anti-reconnaissance capabilities are, and led them to successfully break through the siege of a ninja team without damage. It was incredible. "Lord Hangguang, you can eat it." The barbecue on the fire was fully cooked, and Kato called back. Luhan was sitting in the innermost part of the cave, leaning against the wall, not knowing what he was thinking. Hearing Kato's cracked voice, Luhan raised his head and said, "I don't eat, you can eat, don't disturb me." Kato glanced at Luhan, and said nothing. The 5 Anbu Jonin were eating barbecue, and their voices were lowered. Time passed, and before you knew it, it was early morning. The fire outside the cave has been extinguished. Kato Feng went to the vigil, and the other 4 were in different hidden positions outside the cave, and had already begun to rest. In fact, for ninjas, it is not comfortable to rest in the cave. They are still used to sleeping in the tree. Therefore, Luhan was the only one in the cave, and at the moment when the early morning came, Luhan's body weakened for a while, and immediately solidified again. The day has come again. This is the 3rd time that Luhan has entered the subversive space since he came to the world of Hokage. In fact, if it is not necessary, Luhan really does not want to enter at this time, because he has not saved enough ingots at all, but he has already smelled the conspiracy. Breath, there is big trouble. After the last exchange, Luhan had 2 ingots left. He killed Zhaohai and got 15 ingots. He didn't get them for the next 2 months, until he met the Kurigakure Ghost Army before, and he got 4 in total by killing and dropping during the breakout. Individual. 21 in all. The subversive space is still the big empty room, with only the ball of light suspended in the center. The ball of light split open. Luhan strode out, turned to face the ball of light, and said directly, "Exchange the insight map." Luhan wanted to change something before. This is the exclusive ability of subversives. It takes 20 ingots to redeem. Insight map is actually a small map, which can be zoomed and viewed. The smallest is 1 kilometer in radius, and the largest is 10 kilometers in diameter. Yuhi points will appear on the map as soon as a hostile character appears within viewable range. Chapter 0135_Flying Ninja is coming. Exchange completed. The voice of the subversive messenger resounded in the space. The ingot was automatically deducted from the backpack, and Luhan immediately opened the space backpack and took out the Insight Map scroll to use. With only 20 ingots, you can check the number and location of all enemies within a 10-kilometer radius. Actually not, because using the Insight Map needs to consume chakra. Every second you use, you need to consume a lot of chakra. Luhan didn't use the Insight Map in the subversive space, and planned to go out and try again. Just 2 steps toward the light ball, he seemed to think of something, stopped again, and opened the space backpack. Whoa, 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 whoa. Thousands of crude weapons were poured out of the space backpack, and they were stacked 2 meters high, like a hill. Luhan's space backpack was more than half empty. He had thought about how to deal with these poor weapons. It would be a pity to throw them away. Weapons rated as inferior are all high-quality ninja tools in the Konoha Ninja Tool Store, and they are expensive. Although to Luhan, a crude weapon is not worth much, but there are many advantages. Luhan has always wanted to find an opportunity to sell it all at once, but it is not easy to make a shot, but the space backpack is about to be filled, and now throwing it in the disruptor space seems to be a good choice. The night is thick. In the cave, Luhan suddenly opened his eyes. It was a moonless night, but there were a lot of stars, so it wasn't so dark that he couldn't see his fingers. Luhan looked at the light outside the cave and opened the small map. Third-rate web games. Luhan Majanan couldn't help complaining. Because the small map is displayed in the small piece in the upper right corner of his line of sight, it is translucent and will not block Luhan's line of sight. The small map shows an overhead topographic map, with a display range of 1 kilometer in a radius, that is, with Luhan as the center, within a distance of 500 meters from front, back, left, and right. No Yuhi points. But Luhan saw the white dot and the blue dot. The white dot was at the center of the map, it was Luhan himself, and the blue dot was very close to Luhan. There were 5 in total, it was the Anbu 5 ninjas. Elf, the blue dot on the map is. Luhan asked inwardly, is it a teammate? Yes. The elf responded instantly. Okay. Luhan nodded. He just entered the subversive space to exchange the Insight Map, and he did not ask the subversive messenger for details. He remembered that there was such a subversive exclusive ability that requires 20 ingots to exchange, and he saw and asked when he entered the subversive space last time. At that time, Subversion the messenger only said that he could see the position and number of enemies, but did not elaborate. The small map shows the situation within 1 kilometer. Luhan can feel that his chakra is decreasing. Considering his current chakra volume, the decrease is not too much. If you use it all the time, it will last for at least an hour before Luhan's chakra bottoms out. Zoom in. Luhan thought silently. The range displayed on the small map began to expand, and Luhan's consumption also doubled. Displaying a 3-kilometer range, Luhan can continue to use 2 minutes. Displaying a 5-kilometer range, Luhan can last for 8 minutes. Displaying an 8-kilometer range, Luhan can use it continuously for 2 minutes. Displaying a 10-kilometer range, Luhan can continue to use it for 20 seconds. The amount of chakra required to open a small map in a large area is terrifying, and it is a continuous consumption. When Luhan opened the small map to the maximum range, that is, within 10 kilometers, he would consume 5% of his total chakra per second. Luhan is now releasing an ordinary C-rank ninjutsu, which can't use 5% of the chakra. Bullshit. Luhan felt that his 20 ingots were a bit worthless. In fact, he didn't plan to exchange this ability before because of the problem of consuming chakra continuously. How practical is deprivation? Also only 10 ingots. A grade in ninjutsu only needs 10 ingots. As for the Insight Map, in the long run, it will be replaced sooner or later, but for Luhan now, it is too early. The biggest function of this insight map is to prevent sneak attacks or to use it for tracking when performing scout missions. Other than that, it is extremely useful. Yuhi points everywhere. If he enters Kurigakure village, the number of Yuhi points must be densely packed. Even if Lu Han can open a map, he knows that there are enemies around, because it is someone else's territory, so what's the use of a map? If it wasn't for Lu Han feeling that there was going to be a big problem in the country of the vortex, he wouldn't be in such a hurry to exchange the insight map. But having said that, although the use of the insight map on a large scale requires a lot of chakra, as long as it is used properly, the effect is still not small, and this ability does not need to be used continuously in many cases. The night passed. The next morning, Lu Han walked out of the cave. Anbu Wuren had woken up and gathered around Lu Han. It's only a day away from Uzushiogakure village, Lu Han said while putting on his mask. Don't eat breakfast, please. The information about the discovery of the Kurigakure village ninja team at the border must be sent there as soon as possible. Yes, everyone agreed. Uzushiogakure, which is located in the northwest of the land of Vortex. After leaving the cave where he rested last night, Lu Han opened the small map for only 1 second, and glanced at it to make sure that there were no enemies within 10 kilometers. After that, every half an hour, Lu Han would open the small map to scan. At a glance. As a subversive, Lu Han can return to blue very fast. Although opening the minimap for 1 second will instantly reduce his chakra by 5%, half an hour is enough to restore his chakra to full. Noon. The Anbu team passed a river and got closer and closer to the village of Uzushiogakure. Lu Han habitually opened the small map and glanced at it, but was suddenly surprised. There were 9 more Yuhi points on the minimap, and they were approaching the center of the map at an extraordinary speed, which was Lu Han's location. One of them has a slightly larger Yuhi dot, representing the enemy leader, and a string of Yuhi characters is displayed above the big Yuhi dot. Kurigakure Ghost Force Flying Ninja Captain, Level 25 Diamond Boss, Biwa Jiaohu. Chapter 0136_All Diamond Boss. Flying Ninja. It's a flying ninja. Lu Han immediately thought that the flying ninja is a unique fighting ninja unit in the country of water. This kind of ninja is not mentioned in the original book. Lu Han saw it from Anbu's intelligence. Combining with the original work, it is speculated that Konoha should have been extinct when the plot of the original work began, that is, when Konoha was 60 years old. Either it was extinct in the Second Ninja World War or the Third Ninja World War. The number of large flying ninja beasts that can carry people is too small, the growth cycle is long, and reproduction is difficult. Will be used on a large scale. Damn, the Ghost Army actually has a flying ninja. Lu Han felt unbelievable. What kind of ninja army is the Ghost Army? Thinking about it, Lu Han had already turned off the minimap, and waved his hand to signal the surrounding ninjas to hide. Anbu ninjas headed by Lu Han stopped advancing and hid in the canopy of the nearest super tree. Kato Kai and the others were already alert, watching their surroundings vigilantly, trying their best to restrain their breath. Lord Hangguang, Kato Kai said in a low voice, wanting to ask something, but shut up under Lu Han's gesture. Lu Han slightly opened the branches and leaves and looked at the northwest. Just observe the positions of the 9 Yuhi points, which are 4 kilometers away from Lu Han, and after a short wait, the 9 ninjas riding flying ninjas appeared in Lu Han's line of sight. They flew below the more suitable place for observation. At an altitude of 500 meters, the movement speed is extremely fast. It's Kurigakure Hunan. Kato was almost stunned and cried out, how can there be Kurigakure here? You know, Lu Han asked back. He can only see a blurred figure now, and he can't see what the word Yuhi is on the figure. At present, he only knows that Captain Flying Ninja is a level 25 diamond boss. It is not incomprehensible that this rare and special boss is the captain of the Flying Ninja. It's a special ninja unit unique to Kurigakure village in the country of water. Kato said in a low voice. His tone was a little nervous, because the large flying ninja beasts are only in the country of water. They are a kind of sea bird, so the flying ninja is a kind of sea bird. Their position is unique, and they rarely act alone, but generally with larger units. The detailed information about our Anbu's last master flying ninja was at the end of the last ninja war. It is said that the ninja who can serve as flying ninja are not very powerful, and the strongest is Jonin, mainly because they put all their energy into it. In the practice of cooperating with ninja beasts. Quote, their masters have superb skills in controlling flying ninja beasts. Although their own strength is not strong, they can fly. Being able to control ninja beasts to fly in the sky makes them fearless. Even if they encounter elite Jonin, they will not be afraid to back down. Because the elite Jonin is also difficult to hit them, and they can attack down at will when they are in the air. Quote, at the end of the last ninja war, 1,000 ninja army in Konoha was attacked by a flying ninja squadron. There were only 30 flying ninjas in total, but it almost wiped out our 1,000 ninja army. It wasn't that Lord Danzo arrived in time, and they would not be repelled. At that time, Lord Danzo used the S-level futon, wind-style, forbidden technique many times, but he only killed a few Funin. So strong. Lu Han frowned. He still wanted to kill level 25 bosses, but it sounded like it was too difficult to kill. It's more than strong. Kato Kai shook his head, and there was a sense of powerlessness in his voice. In our entire Konoha village, there are very few ninja masters who can restrain Funin. In the restricted area is the Land of Thunder. Ninjas from Kumogakure village in the Land of Thunder are good at Raiden Thunder-style ninjutsu, and some advanced Raiden Thunder-style ninjutsu can perform ultra-long distance attacks, and even drop thunder directly from the sky. Attacking sky goals are easy. Quote, yeah, Lu Han nodded. In fact, he just thought of a ninjutsu, Raiden Thunder-style Kirin. Attacking from the sky down with the help of natural minds, it is not too easy to kill flying targets. Pity that Lu Han doesn't know Kirin, and this technique does not exist in the ninja world at this time. It is the S-level forbidden technique developed by Uchiha Sasuke, one of the protagonists of the original work. Lord Hangguang, let's withdraw. Kato Kai couldn't help but said again, encountering an opponent who could not fight at all, he would die sooner or later if he was passively beaten, and he couldn't even have the courage to fight. Huh. Lu Han suddenly made a surprised nasal sound, and his pupils contracted violently. Kurigakure is getting closer. Lu Han saw the specific text of their Yuhi name. Kurigakure Ghost Force Flying Ninja Captain, Level 25 Diamond Boss, Biwa Jiaohu. Kurigakure Ghost Force Flying Ninja, Level 25 Diamond Boss, Water 2. Kurigakure Ghost Force Flying Ninja, Level 25 Diamond Boss, Sukazan Ping. Kurigakure Ghost Force Flying Ninja, Level 25 Diamond Boss, Wave Crossing. Kurigakure Ghost Force Flying Ninja, Level 25 Diamond Boss, Sardine White Pattern. Kurigakure Ghost Force Flying Ninja, Level 25 Diamond Boss, Sukazan Rudy. Kurigakure Ghost Force Flying Ninja, Level 25 Diamond Boss, Teodi Fuji. Kurigakure Ghost Force Flying Ninja, Level 25 Diamond Boss, Water Fist. Kurigakure Ghost Force Flying Ninja, Level 25 Diamond Boss, Feng Hai, Kun. All are Level 25 Diamond Bosses. Lu Han was almost stunned. Said by the elves to be extremely rare and rare diamond bosses, I actually encountered 9 at a time. Lu Han immediately understood why they were the diamond bosses. Because they have the extraordinary ability to control ninja beasts, and the ability to cooperate with ninja beasts. Ecstasy. Lu Han's hands trembled with excitement. He was hesitating just now, whether to hide or fight. And now he has no hesitation. Must fight. Although Lu Han has already won the first kill of a level 25 diamond boss. But you must know that the explosion rate of diamond boss is 10 times that of gold boss. The explosion rate of the first kill is close to full value, not the first kill. The explosion rate should also exceed the first kill of the golden boss. A diamond boss of the same level has been killed, the explosion rate of another kill will be higher than the first kill of a gold boss of a similar level. And may also get special rewards. Incredible. It can even be said that if Lu Han can kill these 925 diamond boss, the harvest will exceed the sum of the previous first kill boss. Chapter 0137 Become Captain Anbu directly. We must kill them. We must kill them. The thunderous voice echoed in Lu Han's mind. He couldn't control himself. He had never been so excited. Having been in the world of Hokage for so long, Lu Han has experienced all kinds of battles, and his strength has improved incredibly rapidly. And now, just today, Lu Han has the opportunity to increase his strength explosively. Opportunity is at hand. As long as you can kill the 9 level 25 diamond bosses. 10 times the explosion rate. Coupled with the acquisition of the deprivation technique, the mysterious diamond badge should also be obtained a lot, right? Open the exchange item and you will definitely get great rewards. Such a variety, together with the harvest. Lu Han didn't want to miss it. Even if you show your full strength today, he is also at the mercy of it. Tsunade still doesn't know what kind of trouble he'll get into. Entering the country of water to find Uchiha Gumu is more likely to encounter greater danger. Lu Han needs to make himself stronger. On the sky. The 9-headed Shuadu eagle carries 9 Kurigakure ninjas in rapid flight. In fact, the size of the Shuadu eagle is not too big. Compared with the advanced ninjas on land, they can even be said to be too small, not to mention compared with the tailed beast, they are already the largest among the flying bird ninja beasts. Fact, in the history of the Jonin world, there have been flying ninja beasts larger than them, and there are even giant bird ninja beasts that can carry hundreds of people flying, but those have all died out in the long river of history. Now, the bird ninja that can also carry people, only the Shuadu eagle is left. 9 flying ninjas lined up, and the leader of the flying ninja was Biwa Jiaohu. This middle-aged ninja who is over 40 years old is short and thin. This is the selection criteria for flying ninja. If he is tall and tall, it will put a greater burden on Shuadaying, which will affect Shuadaying's performance. Speed and flexibility. According to the traces of the cave discovered before, and based on the speed of their transfer, they should be around here, within a radius of 30 miles. Biwa Jiaohu said suddenly. The wind was strong at high altitude, but Biwa Jiaohu's voice was very clear, and the other flying ninjas could hear it clearly, and they were flying against the wind, but they didn't need to wear goggles. This is the result of training. Teacher, if they were near here, they might have spotted us. Fei Ninfeng Haikun, who was behind Biwa Jiaohu, said, we flew low and didn't hide in the clouds. Since they could breaking through the siege of our large army, there must be a ninja whose grandmaster is anti-reconnaissance, maybe it is the Hyuga ninja of Konoha. Quote. Yeah, Biwa Jiaohu nodded and glanced at Feng Hai-kun, extremely satisfied. Feng Hai-kun is only 24 years old, and he is already one of the top ninjas in the Kurigakure flying ninja force. He is also a disciple of Biwa Jiaohu and is regarded as his successor by Biwa Jiaohu. What if they find out? Can they still escape? Biwa Jiaohu said again. It was Sukazan Ping. In terms of speed, they are not as fast as us. In terms of strength, they can't beat us, only can be beaten by us. Suikazan's face was indifferent, and his tone was relaxed with disdain. It's not that he is so arrogant, but that's how it is under normal circumstances. If the Shuaduying advances at full speed regardless of losses, it can fly thousands of miles a day. In battle, there are too few ninjas who can attack high-altitude targets. Such ninjas are not unknown among the various forces in the ninja world. Well said. Biwa Jiaohu grinned. It's not far from Uzushiogakure village, we must kill them all nearby. We Kurigakure have been silent for too long. We have been accumulating strength silently. Today, let Konoha's Anbu ninjas see. What is invincible? Disperse. Search within 30 miles. Once you find the target, kill it. Biwa Jiaohu finally shouted. Yes. The other 8 Phenos agreed with a bang. The 9-headed water-crossing eagles that were lined up suddenly fanned out as they advanced, and began a large-scale search. In the tightly sheltered canopy, Anbu won and watched the Kurigakure flying ninja team suddenly spread out in the sky 400 or 500 meters apart. His face changed, they knew that people were hiding nearby. Sir, let's withdraw, Kato Kai said urgently. How to evacuate? Luhan glanced at Kato Kai. This is the country of Vortex. There are not so many trees to block. Many places are grasslands and rocky mountains. Funan's attack method is very special. Even if we are exposed, we can continue to escape, and we will not be killed immediately. This place is not far from the country of Vortex, and maybe we can meet the ninja team of the country of Vortex. Kato Rifle Liandao, in an eager tone, if we keep hiding here, we will be discovered sooner or later. They can't detect me with the naked eye, but ninjutsu can. They have already determined the area and will definitely use special detection methods. Can't we fight back against them? Luhan asked back. Kato choked for a moment, looking at Luhan, speechless, as if he felt that Luhan was a little whimsical, and paused before saying, Lord Hengguang, do you know what a mission to kill a flying ninja accomplishes? What kind of mission is completed? Luhan didn't understand this sentence. Since the last ninja war, we Anbu have had a special long-term mission for more than 10 years, and killing Kurigakure is one of them. Kato explained, anytime, anywhere, as long as killing a Kurigakure flying ninja is considered to be an S-rank mission. It will form a success within our Anbu. Quote. You also know that in Anbu, there is no merit for completing ordinary tasks. That is the duty of an Anbu ninja. Only by completing some extraordinary tasks can you get Anbu merits. The more merits, the higher the level, the higher the level. A chance to challenge. Quote. To be extreme, there is a special long-term mission, which is to kill the shadows of the other 4 villages of the 5 great ninja villages. As far as the current situation is concerned, the Kurigakure village has begun to oppose us, so as long as there are Konoha Anbu ninjas to kill the current Kurigakure Mizukage, you will get the highest merit and have the opportunity to directly become the captain of Anbu. Quote. Become Captain Anbu directly. Luhan was stunned. Chapter 0138_killing begins. Is that okay? Become Captain Anbu directly. Let's not talk about how difficult it is to kill the shadow, just talk about the identity of Captain Anbu. At this time, Konoha is 30 years old, and Sarutobi Hiruzen, who is in his prime, has not yet delegated power to the outside world. Since the power is concentrated in the hands of Sarutobi Hiruzen, the power of other top Konoha leaders will naturally be weakened. In Konoha at this time, the only person who can command Captain Anbu and has a higher status than Captain Anbu is Hokage. Danzo, the leader of the route and the assistant of Hokage, has a higher position than Captain Anbu, but he has no right to order Captain Anbu to do anything. Konoha's power structure is pyramid-shaped, with Sarutobi Hiruzen at the top, and several people below him, including Hokage's assistant Danzo, advisor elders Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado, etc., as well as the current Konoha standing leader of the main battle legion. Compared with them, Captain Anbu's status is only high. That's why Luhan felt a little weird. It seems difficult to be the captain of Anbu, but from another point of view, it is not difficult. It's not to become Captain Anbu directly, Kato said again, speaking very fast, and looked out, looking nervous, but there is a chance to become Captain Anbu directly. There are 2 ways to select Captain Anbu. One is to appoint Hokage directly, but this is rare. The ninja world has been peaceful for more than 10 years, and there are no special problems that are difficult to solve. After the end of the Great Ninja World, Captain Anbu was reappointed, and not since then. Quote. The second case is promotion within Anbu, and now our Captain Hatake is promoted. Relying on the achievement of special long-term tasks to obtain merits for promotion belongs to the second situation. As long as you have enough merits, you will have the opportunity to challenge your superiors, because merits are a symbol of personal ability. If you get the highest merits, you can challenge the current captain. Also it's Captain Hatake. Captain Hatake has to fight. If he loses, he steps down. If he wins, his position remains the same, but he can choose to step down. Quote. So it is. Luhan nodded, his heart was fiery. Anbu in this way, Luhan has the confidence to quickly improve his rank in Anbu. Although it is difficult to kill shadows and challenge Hatake Sakumo's current strength is probably not lower than Danzo, and Lu Han will not be arrogant. I want to have the strength to surpass Hatake Sakumo in a short period of time. But he can lower his requirements a little bit. Captain Anbu can always do it, right? Those secret techniques, forbidden techniques, and profound meanings of Konoha. Rashomon left by the first generation, Hiraishin left by the second generation. As long as the level is high enough, you can definitely get in touch. Kato looked out nervously. Konoha Anbu team hidden in the canopy will not be found. Lord Hangguang, let's withdraw. Kato Kai said urgently again, can't wait any longer. You said, if we can kill these 9 Kurigakure flying ninjas, what level of merit would it be? Lu Han asked. He seemed to have another reason to kill these 25 diamond bosses. Sir, Kato Kai was really anxious, in an incredible tone, what are you thinking? Stop joking. Kill them, you can use these merits in exchange for a chance to challenge the position of squad leader. Kato Feng, who rarely speaks, said silently, and Kato Kai immediately turned back and glared at his brother. Kato Feng turned his head to the side with a guilty conscience. Lord Hangguang, it's absolutely impossible. Kato Kai looked at Lu Han again and urged, although Kurigakure has never been strong, if we fight on the ground, we will win. But they are in the sky now, and we don't have much power. Any chance? I understand. Lu Han's voice suddenly became much colder. Looking outside, I just asked, there are priorities, and now our main task is to report the Kurigakure troops appearing in the southeast of the country of fire. Uzushiogakure village. Quote. Yes. Kato Split nodded. He was really afraid that Lu Han's head would be hot. But, Lu Han said again, looking at Kato Kai, the 6 of us are evacuating together, the target is too big, and exposure is almost inevitable. Can we really escape then? And, I'm too weak. It will affect your speed. My lord means. Let's go separately. I am giving an order to you now as the temporary captain. Lu Han said very seriously, the mission goal is to deliver the information to Uzushiogakure village. During the mission, give up all other missions. Even if you die, send the information over. Yes, 5 ninja promised in a low voice. But my lord, if you don't have our protection, your safety. Kato said again. My safety, Lu Han asked back and paused. You should worry about yourself. Although I'm not as strong as you, but if you talk about anti-tracking, you can't compare them together. Kato stopped talking because he couldn't refute it. Lu Han's godlike anti-investigation ability, Kato Kai and several people have seen it when they broke through with Lu Han yesterday. That's it, act, Lu Han said. 20 minutes later. Lu Han was still squatting on the tree, and the other 5 ninjas had already left. Because the surrounding forests were all around, they had not yet reached the grassland terrain, because Kato Kai and others who had left had not yet been discovered. As the minimap opened and closed, Lu Han glanced at it. The blue dots represented by Kato Kai's 5 people have moved to the edge of the map, and Lu Han is in the middle of the map, so they are 4 or 5 kilometers away from Lu Han at this time. Flying Ninja, who was circling overhead, had already started special investigations, such as throwing kunai into the forest below. Bang! Lu Han suddenly punched the tree, and the canopy shook violently. A flying ninja who was only half a kilometer away suddenly noticed the change, and the speed of the water-crossing eagle suddenly increased, going straight to the big tree where Lu Han was, and the speed was extremely fast. Lu Han took a deep breath and squinted as he watched the flying ninja getting closer and closer. Suddenly moved. Lu Han jumped from the tree branch in an instant, his feet landed on the ground and his knees bent down, the strange force poured into his legs, Lu Han output chakra regardless of the loss. Boom! The ground burst, and Lu Han shot into the sky like a cannonball. Chapter 0139_blood spilled. Taiju magical power. In the original work, it is mainly reflected in the fist attack, which is extremely powerful. In fact, this is a way of using chakra. If it is used to attack, it is the strongest fist. Fist is the best way to accumulate power. But that doesn't mean it can't be applied to other areas. Taijutsu monster power has reached level 4. After 2 more levels, he will reach the limit of this world. After 5 more levels, he will reach the limit of a subversive. Luhan once deduced that Tsunade's taijutsu magic power, it should be equivalent to LV5 level. With full strength, it can burst out 5 to 6 times the power of LV4. Taijutsu is different from ninjutsu. There is a limit to the improvement of each level of ninjutsu. However, for each level of taijutsu, the power increases several times or even 10 times. Example, the 8 inner gates is like a step-by-step, especially in the later stage, the power difference between opening 7 gates and opening 8 gates is dozens of times. Another feature of taijutsu that is different from ninjutsu is that it continuously outputs a large amount of chakra. In fact, in terms of Luhan's current chakra volume, he simply cannot exert the full power of the LV4 taijutsu magic power. The destructive power of the LV4 taijutsu magic power is enough to smash B-level Doden Earth-style ninjutsu with one punch. Defense. Because Luhanji is not in taijutsu, he seldom makes use of the strange power of taijutsu. At most, it is to bless the strength of his hands. And today, Luhan finally had a chance to make his physical strength shine. What is Kurigakure most afraid of? The first is Raiden Thunder-style ninjutsu. Next is gymnastics. It's a pity that Luhan doesn't know the 8 inner gates, otherwise, a jump can directly drag the target down. With the speed of the 8 inner gates, there is no possibility for Fino to dodge. The ground burst apart due to the recoil force of the pedaling of both feet, the soil splashed, the smoke and dust were everywhere, and the black-robed mask like a cannonball shot straight into the sky. Luhan decisively outputted 30% of his chakra at one time. It jumped up to a height of more than 100 meters, and it is still rising, but the speed has slowed down, and the strength is about to be exhausted, so it will rise by another 10 or 20 meters at most. The flying ninja who found the canopy swaying was Sukazan Ping. He had already rode the water eagle to the sky above the tree, but Luhan suddenly jumped out but startled him. Then he laughed again. Taiju ninja. Have no fear. Because Luhan only jumped more than 100 meters high, Sukazan's flying height was 300 meters when he was searching, but when he flew over, he dived and dropped to more than 200 meters. At least 100 meters away. This is an absolutely safe distance. Including the S-level forbidden technique, there are very few ninjutsus that can attack so far and jump into the air, because the speed is too fast, coupled with the surrounding wind and the space is extremely unstable, it is difficult to use the instant body technique again. Increase. Idiot, do you still want to sneak attack me? Sukazan laughed loudly, and throwing his hand as a kunai. Several kunai shot at Luhan. Luhan had already reached the highest point of this jump. He had exhausted his jumping power and was about to fall. He raised his head and stared at Sukazan Ping. The moment Sukazan Ping threw kunai, he disappeared into the air. Secret technique, shadow flash technique. This is a speed-type instant body technique, not a physical technique but a secret technique. Because you can move instantly without exerting force on your body, you can move forward, you can go backward, you can go up. You can also. Luhan flickered, and in the blink of an eye, he jumped up more than 100 meters. Appeared directly on the side of Suikazan's flat body. Puchi. The light of the sword appeared, and the blood splattered all over the sky. Real strength is only equivalent to the special Jonin's Sukazan Ping who has no power to fight back. He didn't take Luhan seriously, and the shadow flash technique was too fast. Even if he already knew the danger, it was too late to react. A knife cut off by the arm of the physique monster blessing. It's almost invisible. Sukazan Ping and the water eagle he was riding were directly chopped and shattered in the air. Dozens of falling objects also exploded and scattered like fireworks. The shui dying itself is not powerful, it is equivalent to a chunin who can perform sea-level ninjutsu. The reason why it is so precious is only because it can carry people to fly. Chiu. Shuodying let out a whimper before dying. 5 kilometers to the east, at the edge of the forest. Kato was crawling under the low canopy, maintaining the invisibility technique, and the whole person even slowed down his breathing. 300 meters up in the air, Biwa Jiaohu was circling the water-crossing eagle with a puzzled expression. He had just been searching around here, and vaguely noticed that a figure seemed to be swaying between the two trees, and now he flew over, but didn't see it. Small animal, or what? Biwa Jiaohu muttered, shaking his hand as a kunai. Kai, 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 kai. The kunai sprinkled down like a rain of flowers all over the sky. This is a specially made little kunai. It is not a problem to throw a dozen of them at a time. With a piercing sound, more than 10 kunai smashed out of the tree canopy. Some of them smashed into the bushes, but nothing disturbed them. Kato was sweating coldly from his cracked temples. A kunai fell a meter away from his feet and nailed it to the ground. If it was a little further away, he would have to hide, and he would be exposed. Kato is now in a dilemma, because he has reached the brink of exposure. If he walks a few dozen meters to the east, he will leave the forest and enter the grassland. The grassland is flat and there are almost no obstacles. Biwa Jiaohu is still hovering in the air with the water-crossing eagle. Sudden chirp. A unique chirping sound came from far away. Biwa Jiaohu's face changed dramatically, and he looked back instantly, the boss staring in disbelief. Who was attacked? Not only did he hear the chirping, but all the Finos heard it, and the sound could travel very far in the air. Call. Biwa Jiaohu rode the water-crossing eagle and flew to the west at high speed. After Biwa Jiaohu flew for at least 1 kilometer, Kato jumped up from the grass, jumped up the tree, and continued up to the top of the canopy, hiding and looking westward. Who was discovered? Kato Kai frowned. Someone must have been spotted. The 6 people walked separately, and there must be someone who was discovered first, and whoever was discovered earlier was more likely to die. Alas, Kato Kai couldn't help sighing. Chapter 0140_Fino's Shame. Life and death, this is the fate of the ninja. Kato Kai didn't know who would die first, maybe even his younger brother. The only thing he could be sure of was that the person who was discovered first should not be Lu Han. Anbu Lu Ren, the first person to be exposed, may be any of the other 5, but Lu Han can't be the only one. Kato Kai believes in the ability of Lord Hengguang. Even if it is discovered, it should be the last one of the 6 people to be discovered. May they be safe. Kato Kai finally prayed, withdrew his gaze towards the west, jumped from the tree, rushed up in an instant, rushed out of the forest, and rushed into the grassland of Pingchuan. He has been exposed to the sky, and at this time, as long as Kurigakure is within 2 kilometers of this vicinity, he will be noticed from the air. Kato Kai has no fear. At this point, he must move on. It's hard to say how many people will meet or rush to Uzushiogakure village. Kato Kai can't care about others, he can only rely on himself, and he must send the information. In the forest, blood and minced flesh drifted in the wind, and a blood mist was sprinkled on the sky. The black-robed masked figure descended rapidly from more than 200 meters in the air, which was equivalent to the height of a 70-story building. The speed of the fall was getting faster and faster, and it fell vertically into the forest boom. Lu Han didn't take any buffer measures and landed with a bang. Smoke and dust were everywhere, and a big pit was blown out of the forest. Lu Han knelt on one knee in the pit and slowly got up again. His flesh and blood are protected by chakra, and his bones are as hard as steel. Keke Genkai Shikatsumiku, dead bone pulse, so that he does not have any possibility of being broken. Bang! Crackling. The bodies of Sukazanping and Shuaduying fell into the bushes not far away, along with the dozens of fallen objects. Lu Han walked over quickly, found the torso of Sukazanping's body, and put his hand on it. Ding! Deprivation is successful, get the Book of Famous Beasts. Ding! Deprivation failed. Ding! Deprivation failed. Ding. Deprive success. Get diamond badge. Ding. Deprivation failed. The boss can only be deprived 5 times in a row, and the probability of success is not low. This is because this is the reason for the diamond boss. If it is a gold boss, the probability is definitely not so high. While Lu Han was depriving him, all the fallen objects scattered around turned into streamers and flew into Lu Han's body. 3 seconds of automatic recovery. Even if it is far away from Lu Han, it will catch up with Lu Han and enter Lu Han's body. After completing the deprivation, Lu Han quickly hand seal again, marked the shadow flash technique on his arm, and then took out several small blue bottles and drank them one by one. Chakra full. This is the first one. Lu Han glanced at the broken corpse on the ground for the last time, then turned back to the sky with the knife in hand. He was not hiding under the tree, but was standing on the grass. The Fukushima who was closest to here had already rushed over, followed by the second. The third. One after another phenomena appeared in the sky above Lu Han, the water-crossing eagle with a body length of more than 4 meters flapping its wings, circling around under the control of a ninja. They are all 300 meters in the air, which is a distance that is difficult for Lu Han to attack, but it is not a suitable attack distance for flying ninja either. A distance of 300 meters takes a certain amount of time, and this time is enough for the ninja on the ground to determine the landing point, so as to avoid it. Bewa Zhao who finally arrived. In the sky, the 8 flying ninjas gathered together. Looking at the situation below, they all showed unbelievable eyes. Sukazan Ping and Shui Daying were both smashed to pieces. That's a miserable. It is hard for them to imagine how Lu Han did it. A well-trained flying ninja will never land when driving a water eagle, and he will die in the sky. Wearing a black robe and a mask, Lu Han glanced up, without fear. You are the captain of that Anbu squad. Bewa Zhao suddenly exclaimed. He recognized Lu Han because Lu Han was short. You are the flying ninja of the Kurigakure Ghost Force. Lu Han replied indifferently. How do you know about the Ghost Army? Bewa Zhao lost his voice. Even if the ghost troop is discovered, even the number is known, how is this possible? Is this important? Lu Han continued. I know you want me to die, so come down and kill me if you have the ability. Lu Han's attitude is that he doesn't take the terrifying Kurigakure phenomena in his eyes at all. Kill him. Bewa Zhao also simply ordered loudly. There is no need for more reasons. His mission this time was to hunt down Lu Han, not to mention that Lu Han had already killed one of them. Perhaps it was because they had not lost for a long time, and a kind of conceit had naturally arisen in their hearts. Their arrogance suddenly lost a flying ninja, making them unacceptable. Shame. Contrary to what Lu Han thought, the flying ninjas did not dive to lower their height, but took out something from their bodies while circling and threw them down. Lu Han could see clearly that it was a metal ball with a curse mark, the size of a dragon's eye. Lu Han didn't know what was the use of this metal ball, but he realized that there must be danger, and quickly avoided it. Boom. Lu Han had just rushed out less than 10 meters, when a metal ball landed behind him, followed by a roar, and the scorching flames rose and erupted, instantly spreading to more than 10 meters. Fuck. Lu Han scolded it outright, another enemy who doesn't play cards according to the routine. Boom, 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 boom. Metal balls fell one by one, and the 8 flying ninjas carried out a carpet bombing at an altitude of 300 meters, and Lu Han fled in embarrassment. A metal ball, an offensive ninja tool similar to a detonating talisman, but more powerful than an explosive talisman. The detonator itself is already an expensive ninja tool. In Konoha village, only a few senior ninjas can get the detonator supply, including the Anbu ninja. Other ninjas who want to use the detonator can only buy it with their own money. And the cost of this metal ball is at least several times that of the detonating talisman, and it is really a luxury to use. I don't believe you can throw it all over. Lu Han frantically moved his position.